Hurry up. God damn it. Uh, oh. Oh, it's only well, people say that it's too long. It's only 2 hours and 22 minutes, Grievetron, which I think flew for me. Have I seen all the Tom Hanks movies? That's a good question. I don't know how many. Let me have a look. Let's have a look on the internet because nobody else is doing fuck all anyway. Tom Hanks movies. Let's have a look. I'm going to try and collect all of this audio and put it all together, like in like little snippets before the show. And Castaway, it's my favourite film. I've got a tattoo on my leg of Tom Hanks in that film. Forrest Gump, yep. Sully, he's a captain, isn't he, of a ship? Might have seen that one yet. Green Mile, yeah. Terminal, yeah. Big, yeah. Inferno, yeah. Saving Private Ryan, yes. Captain Phillips. Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me. Then that did. Ah.
I did try and add you once. I didn't. I don't. You must have missed it. I'm just watching a video.
What? Forrest Gump?
No, I've watched that now. It's part of the news that Katie's put in, but there was a headline in it that I needed to read and watch this thing.
I wondered what was happening. I was just keeping Derek and Grievatron
Are we
happy.
live now?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry for the delay.
I've played the theme tune and everything.
Have you?
Yeah, I've just been fucking around. I'm just gonna try and like put it all together. I think I can if I got time.
All right, cool.
They've asked me how many Tom Hanks movies I've watched, and I'm still working down the list. And I don't think I've come across one that I've not seen yet.
That includes Toy Story.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
The Money Pit. I haven't seen that. The Circle. That was strange. Not seen Saving Mr. Banks neither.
Da Vinci Code, or is it Da Vinci?
I've seen that.
Oh, it's got a date, April 18.
It's not far. Jesus, that's quite close. It's probably like a couple of weeks.
Although it's bound to be digital, that's gutting. I'm so upset.
I was thinking because most of them are like indie kind of games. I feel like they probably would have been digital.
Yeah, well, because of how much I love Cuphead, I just want them to release like a super special edition. I'll just go and buy it straight away without thinking. Yeah. Where is Carl? Let's blame Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, he's online. Right, let's do something about that. Let me get a drink while he's jumping in and we'll get going.
The show title can be Carl Delays the Internet. Delays the whole show.
It's all Carl's fault, and oh no, he's joined now. We can't say anything bad.
Here he is.
That joke will never get old when it says that he's added to the call and
you
you
wish Skype wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. How you doing, Carl?
I'm good.
Good.
Just busy bud now.
Okay, actually, what I'll do is I'll go and shut the door. I'll get a drink once we get going.
Oh, shut that door.
Shut that door.
Yeah. So we're doing. We all good?
Good. Doing good.
I'm alright. Carl, how are you?
I'm alright, mate. I'm not too bad.
Very good. I was just opening a beer.
Good man. Oh shit, mine's in the other room. I'll get one due a time when I'm not talking.
Not at work till 4 o'clock tomorrow. Yes.
Bastard. I mean, well done.
I went in at 10 though last night, and I didn't like because I was on sleepover, I went in at 7:30 in the morning, finished at 3, come back home, did loads of work at home, and then I went back to work at 10. Didn't get to bed till 2. Got up at 6. Then I've been grafting here all day, and here I am.
Have we started?
3 times over.
Yeah.
Have I been kicked off the show yet?
Oh,
Come on, someone do me a favour.
come on. We could never lose
No
you.
chance. The lifeblood, mate. The lifeblood. Right, so it's just the 4 of us, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
4 of
Cool.
us.
Andy sent us a Twitter thing. Did we find that? If not, I'll find it as we go.
Yeah, I've not put that in the chat. I last updated it about 4:30, something like
All right,
that.
he sent it about 7:30.
Okay.
All right, I suppose we should get going because I'm tired and I've got things to do after I've got to do my dad's car insurance. Let me log in into
Sounds
the right
sexy.
thing. Yeah, let me slip into something more comfortable.
Yeah, I thought it was more Division 2 maybe.
Kyle, you dirty dog. Someone opening a game?
Yeah, it's not a game, it's a phone. I just picked up a new phone today because the camera on the camera on mine is so bad.
Well, that's an interesting question.
And I
What phone
figured
you got?
it's an Honor 8X. I don't like spending a ton of money on phones, and this
That is one I've never heard of.
bang for your buck, it's ridiculous. Great processor, 4 gig of RAM, really good camera. For 200, the reviews are insane. So for 200 quid, you can't go wrong with it. I don't think.
What's that
Because I
called?
don't. It's an Honor X8 or Honor 8X, I think it's called. What the fuck's? Yeah, Honor 8X. Honor is a brand of phone made by Huawei. It would just behind Samsung in the mobile phone stakes now. I think they're not far behind and beyond Apple. So, but yeah, ridiculous specs for the money. Great phone. So, if you look at the reviews, it's a bit of a beast, to be fair. So.
Right, and he's done his thing where I need to move part of the question. This week's film.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll chop it off before I do anything with it. Cool. I am paying attention, folks. Well, I should be hosting the nerds as well. There we go.
Where is the film thing? Oh, okay, there. So put it. Oh God. Should be more organised. Oops, spelled Andy wrong.
Yeah. What time did you get out from work, Carl?
Oh, I got in at what time was it? About 5:20, and then I had to watch the film, eat dinner, shower, and here I am.
Man, you forget how long that movie is, don't you?
Yeah.
It's only 2 hours and 22 minutes. Well, people go on that it's a week long.
Yeah, dude. But for a non-action movie, that's a long time for me.
Come on, man. There's loads of action in that. There's Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this anyway.
Yeah.
We will. Where am I putting this sports section?
The end.
Sports section that
Where
goes
it
there.
Have the semi-finals for the FA Cup been drawn?
Fuck
We're not,
yeah,
we're not
fuck
talking
yeah,
about that.
fuck
We're not
yeah.
talking about that. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, I need to know because
No.
it's already in my head. Like I probably know who you're facing, but I won't say anything.
Uh,
It was a rivalry brewing. That's all it was.
Fuck yeah.
we shall see. All will be revealed. Yes. Right.
Okay, can we go?
This noise means we can go.
Oh yeah. Dirty bastard.
Wow.
Okay.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to episode 51 of the Entertainerds podcast, your one-stop shop into the world of entertainment. From TV to films, from gaming to sport, we have it all. I'm your host, Kyle Adams, and joining me this week, we have Katie,
Hello.
we have Carl,
Hello.
and we have Pete,
All right.
and Antonio's
Yammer.
Yeah. And Antonio's busy, so unfortunately he's not with us this time. Either that or he doesn't like Forrest Gump. We'll find out one day. But Katie, over to you. What have you been up to since last episode?
Well, this Sunday just gone, me and a group of friends, we went to Harry Potter World. Harry Potter.
Oh, friends.
Yeah,
Potter.
all the friends. And
Potter friends.
it's funny. Oh, no, and it's funny because I will say I've only watched I haven't watched any more at this point in time, but I've only watched the first two Harry Potter films, and that's it. Like, I know of things that happen in later on in the other films, but like going into, this day, I'd only seen the first two films, and I will say that didn't affect my enjoyment one bit. It was still a lot of fun. It was just fascinating to go around and look at all the props and displays that were up and just looking at everything. And and it's not like I was standing there like, what's that? What's that? Like, no, I was actually looking at things and going, okay, and I know that. I know that's from that. I know this is when that happens. Like, I know where that's from. So even with limited knowledge, it was still a lot of fun. And we went there for one of the people in the group, it was their birthday the week before, but we couldn't go until the following weekend, which was the Sunday. And it was for her birthday, and she got to open. Just one question: have you any of you guys been to Harry Potter World?
No.
Where is it?
No,
It's Watford.
London, is it?
Watford Junction.
Oh, Kyle's got no excuse.
I haven't got an excuse, but no, I haven't been there.
Instead of watching the unicorns for one weekend, you could go there.
I could, yeah, you're right.
But no, and well, when you first go in, you've to the actual tour part, because obviously you've got the gift shop section, you've got a cafe and whatnot. But when you go into the actual tour part, you get like a little promo video kind of thing where like you've got like members of the tour staff talking to you about like what they love about working there and things like that. And then you go into like a little mini cinema where you get like Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson talk to you about like their experiences making the films, because obviously they were on those films for the better part of 10 years, not 10 years, maybe 9 years. Like
Really?
basically their childhood, I guess you could say, was spent making those films, and they were basically just recollecting on what they've done and what it meant to them, and obviously how it feels now that it's over. And then they just spoke about the Harry Potter world and things like that. And then and then the screen would lift up, like the actual movie screen would like lift up, and then it would reveal the doors that you would go through to actually enter the tour part of the building. And my friend, whose birthday it was the week before, she got to open the door because they obviously said, "Is there anybody's birthday here?" And she was hiding her face, and obviously we're like, nah, there, she's here. She was like, "For fuck's sake, guys!" That's what she was like. But yeah, she got to open the door, which was a lot of fun. And then it would lead you into like the Great Hall where all the kids would have their meals and stuff. See, I'm speaking like an absolute noob when it comes to Harry Potter, but I will be watching them from. I said to myself when I came out of there, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to watch them all now because I really want to, and I feel like I owe it to my friends who let me come with them, being the Harry Potter noob that I am. So, but no, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was just, I loved it. Like, probably my favorite section was the King's Cross section, not platform 9 and 3/4. You got to go through the Hogwarts train and things like that. And then at the very end, I also loved was there's a like mini replica of Hogwarts that you can walk all the way around, so you could get different angles for pictures and stuff. And it was really soothing. It was absolutely beautiful because the music they were playing as well was really, it just fitted in so well with what I was looking at. It just looked so beautiful. And then I was also told at Christmas that apparently they cover it in snow, which made me think I've got to come back at Christmas. But no, we do plan to go back at some point in September for another one of our friends' birthdays, because I think they're adding in things left, right, and centre to that place. And so hopefully by then I will be a true Potter, nerd, hopefully. But apart from that, that is actually all I've been up to. But it was a nice day. It was nice weather, thank God. Even though we were inside for the better part of it, it was still a nice day, and it was still a really good time. So yeah, I'm glad I went. Even though I don't know Harry Potter that well, but I plan to catch up.
Brilliant. I've got all the Harry Potter minifigures that were released, and I've never seen a Harry Potter film. So,
Surprise, surprise.
yes, indeed.
I think
Uh,
there's
Maybe
only
on the list.
there's
Maybe
a-
on this list.
yeah, there's only one I think on this list. I'm sure there's
Hmm.
only one. Or
I would imagine it's got to be the last one or something like that. I don't know which one of the films is the most popular.
yeah, I'm gonna have to have a look now, but I'm sure there's only one.
Yeah, I don't think there's many of them, to be fair.
No, and it's well, they're all good films. I think I've not seen. I don't think I've seen the last one actually, but yeah, they're all right.
The last two were filmed. Some sections of the last film were filmed about 10 minutes away from my house.
No way.
Little fact.
True story. What about yeah, so that's it for you, Katie? Was that?
Yep,
Sorry.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, that's
cool.
me.
Right, Carl, what about yourself?
Not a lot, mate. Not a lot. I've booked my flights over to MGC in a couple of weeks' time. So done that, got it done and dusted. I literally just got to pack, man. I'm there. So looking forward to a little vacation and see my buddies. And a flying visit really.
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm not even going. How strange. Yeah,
There'll be a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I hope so. I've been listening to a band of gamers. I'm nearly caught up now. I think I'm only a week behind. So
Fab.
yeah, but you've been talking to me all day, which has kept me company. Which is sounds kind of weird, but hey ho, whatever gets you through your working day. So Pete, what about you?
I've not been to IKEA from what I can recall of this past 7 days.
Yay.
But I've not stopped. I've fitted a burglar alarm. I've moved loads of stuff. I've been painting, wallpapering. Oh yeah, I've had this radiator from hell. It was just one of these small radiators in Kira's bedroom, and I thought, yeah, I can. Cause you know when you want to take radiators off the wallpaper behind them, because otherwise you get like these shitty little bits of scrag ends, don't you, when you don't paper behind
Yeah.
them? Anyway, so I can do shit. So I think I'm going to take this radiator off, and it was the radiator from hell. The one nut was just like completely fused onto the radiator valve. And do you think I could get it off? No. So I had to drain the heating system and then get the radiator off. But I was doing all this at 7:30 yesterday, and I had to be in work for 10 last night, and I was rushing around going to the B&Q to get another radiator valve, and I had to fill the system back up, and I just about got finished for 20 past 9, and then I got to work about 5 minutes late, but I did it. So I had the radiator from hell. I don't want to touch that ever again. And I've just been working pretty much all over our house just to make it a even more comfier and beautiful place. We've had a guest over this week, so it's been really, really busy. We've still been non-stop, but we're chipping away at it, and we're doing pretty well. So yeah, and Shell's working hard as well. I'm talking like I'm doing it all myself, but no, Shell's busting her gut as well. We haven't even had tea tonight, so we might even have to have a Chinese takeaway.
Preparing for that housewarming party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to come in and wreck it. I think I might have to do it in the street.
No
you
one's allowed in the house.
you ain't coming out. You're not coming in around here, you fuckers. If you need the toilet, just piss on somebody's garden. I don't mean that. I love my neighbours.
Yes, you do.
That's me.
Funny enough, I went past IKEA in a place that we'll mention a lot more of later.
Oh yeah.
And I thought of you. It's the only thing now, and I was going to take a picture, but I was driving at the time. I thought that wouldn't be too sensible. Talking of the car, moving on to me, bloody thing. Took it to work on Friday, and then I had to give one of the guys at work with a lift down to the garage. Fine. Brought the car back to work, parked up, worked the afternoon, got in the car. At the end of the day, wouldn't start. And the car's still sat there now. We're trying to get to the bottom of what's wrong with it, which is a bloody nuisance. So yeah, cars. I need to try and get it recovered because what we thought it wasn't. And basically, long story short, there's no spark. So why that is, we're not 100% sure yet. It could be 1,000,001 reasons. So that's causing a pain in the ass. But luckily, it's not too drastic because I've still got Sam's old car and I've also been using the motorbike. So bike was out today for a couple of weeks before the insurance lapses, and it's not getting renewed because it's too expensive. So yeah, might as well use the bike while I can.
What bike have you got?
It's a Kawasaki Ninja 650.
That's why you can't afford a bloody insurance.
Yeah, the insurance is about £1,000.
Yeah, why don't you get a chicken chaser? You can, insure it for 200 quid.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
my
two-
125 was cheap to insure, but I've had this
Yeah.
one this a couple of years, actually, just shy of 2 years, and yeah, I would have spent in them 3 years if I renewed over £3,000 on insurance, because it actually went up last year, even though I
God.
didn't claim. So yeah, it's just going to sit a bit dormant for a little while because I just don't have the money at the minute. Not that sort of money anyway. But hey ho, we shall get the car sorted first. Other than that, I know we don't really have our film and TV section as it used to be, so I might as well bring this up now, just because I know a lot of people are talking about it. Just want your opinions as well. Sam and I have watched all 6 episodes on Netflix of Ricky Gervais's Afterlife. Have any of you watched any of that or got any interest? Or
No.
I haven't watched it, but I know obviously last week Chinny was talking about that. Mike, he was talking about that, wasn't he? He covered it for a little bit.
He didn't bloody shut up. Or Mark Annex. Feel sorry for it. He invited him on the show and he got to say, hello, goodbye.
Pretty much. Yeah, we'll grab Mark on again at some point.
Yeah.
I think it's his wife's birthday, so happy birthday,
Jenny,
her. Yeah, and yeah, I think they've gone out for something to eat actually or something. I can't remember, but yeah. So Afterlife, I would say that I'm not a huge Ricky Gervais fan, but at the same time, like the things that he does, like The Office, Derek, I've really enjoyed. I think it's just like the films that he's done, you can have too much. Whereas if you're watching an episode a night or 2 episodes a night, that sort of 50 minutes or whatever is just enough. I've never watched one of his stand-ups, although I did see a clip of Humanity, I think it was, on Netflix, and it did seem quite amusing, so I would like to watch it. But Afterlife, if you've got any interest in, well, Ricky Gervais's work, I suppose, the gist of this is his wife has died of cancer, but she knows that he's a bit hopeless with everything, so she's actually recorded videos that he watches on his computer of her telling him the most basic of things to do, so he carries on with his life, so he just doesn't sit there and do nothing really, just try basically to encourage him to move on. And it's done in a very nice, sensitive way. It's got the humour in there as well. If you're not a fan of the C word, I would avoid it because it's used quite heavily, which for some people could be an issue. For Sam, as much as she enjoyed it, she doesn't particularly like the word, as a lot of people don't.
Katie's in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Katie, I'm sure you'd be fine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it is there. And I mean, when he says it in the thing, there are a couple of occasions where I did laugh out loud because of the way that the subject matter. But yeah, 6 episodes, as I say, they're all about 25 minutes long. I just feel like episode 6 was, I don't know, it all came to an end quite quickly. And I'm not sure that it was how I would have liked it or how I would have written it. But it's very strong. It goes to places that you wouldn't expect. Some of it's quite shocking, especially to do with drugs. So, but yeah, it's on Netflix. Highly recommended by me. And yeah, that's about it, I suppose, for Afterlife. So let's move on. Let's get on to our 250 movie challenge.
This way, listener, this way, it's time. It's an epic journey, but you can manage. It's the Entertainerds 250 movie challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to laugh during that.
No, you can't, man. You ruin the flow.
I know, I'm sorry. It does make me laugh.
So, our film was Forrest Gump from. Oh, actually, Pete, do you still need to practice? I know it's been in here for weeks, but I've just assumed that you're.
No, I'll tell you what. No, I don't.
It's like, no.
I mean, I hate reading. I really do hate it, and I just think I just want to try and keep on reading as much as I can. And this is the only opportunity that I get to really do it. Otherwise, I just say no. I'm not bothered. So I don't care if anybody else wants to do it. It's fine. But I'm not happy with whoever has put Forrest Chump or put Forrest Chump in the notes. I don't think that's nice.
Forrest Chump.
I'm offended.
I think it was me actually. I can't remember.
I know it
Forrest
was you.
Gump this morning, but someone's put Forrest. I don't
The
know
first
who that
bit, that bit was me.
was. Okay, it's me and Colin. There we go.
Yeah.
Mystery solved.
It's all right. So who wants to introduce this movie? Anyone?
See, nobody wants to do it.
No. So you maybe put that bit back in about you need the practice.
So carry on.
I thought this was like your bit, Pete. So
No, I'll tell you what. This is Carl's segment of the show. So
I can read it. It's fine.
You see, he's flying the flag.
It's all right. Okay, so Forrest Gump from 1994, 2 hours, a whopping 2 hours, 22 minutes. But it flies by, according to some. Forrest Gump is a simple man with a low IQ, but good intentions. He's running through childhood with his best and only friend, Jenny. His mama teaches him the ways of life and leaves him to choose his destiny. Forrest joins the army for service in Vietnam, finding new friends called Dan and Bubba. He wins medals, creates a famous shrimp fishing fleet, inspires people to jog, starts a ping pong craze, creates the smiley, writes bumper stickers and songs, donates to people, and meets the president several times. However, this is all irrelevant to Forrest, who can only think of his childhood sweetheart, Jenny Curran, who has messed up her life. Although in the end, all he wants to do is prove that anyone can love anyone.
No.
Very nice. So I always get this wrong. I need to write this bit in. Is this now where we say how we watched it?
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me
Katie,
what
how
you
did
start
you
off
watch
with.
this? Yeah.
Not on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I feel like that's the way I should answer this question now.
Yeah, that's loud and clear, I suppose. What about yourself, Pete?
I brought the DVD 52 times just to keep the ratings up. Not being biased.
I also bought the DVD, to be fair.
Brilliant. And for me, I watched this on Now TV on another free 7-day trial, which I must remember to cancel.
Didn't watch it on mobile this time.
Well, I did watch it on my phone. Yeah, I was sat on the bed upstairs, just hid away in the dark, watching the film on my phone, because I need to stop leaving it till the last minute to watch these films. Literally finished this film about 7:30. So yeah, that's no good. But yeah, I struggled to find it elsewhere. I mean, I don't know all these dodgy places that Katie goes to, but I'm running out of free trials of.
She'd be in Pirate Bay.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, you might have to share some secrets. Anyway, so Katie, have you seen this film, or had you seen this film before?
I had not. I have heard obviously tons of references from this film, but I know I hadn't seen it before. It was actually released the year I was born. Make you feel old. But I guess we could just say what we thought of it. I absolutely loved it.
Yes.
From start to finish, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I will say why. You know, when we go into our ratings, I will say why it's not a 10, but I will say why it's not a 10 at the end. But it's a small thing, but it's still something that made the rating go down. But no, I thoroughly loved it. I mean, I'll go into why. Well, let me start again, because I got basically my end kind of like paragraph on why I liked it, but I'll start off with I just loved the opening of the film. It just set the tone for me straight away. I just loved that opening where you got that lovely piano orchestral music playing over, watching that feather just float over the town or city, wherever. I just loved it, and it just it set me up. It put me in the mood. It made me feel like, okay, I feel like I'm in for an emotional roller coaster here.
Pardon me, sorry. Okay, Pete, is this one you had seen before?
Yeah, loads of times. I absolutely love this film. Now, I'm going to play some audio of my favourite bit, and I don't know how it's going to pan out on this. It might just blow your ear rolls off. But I don't know because I've never really played desktop audio on my PC before. But I absolutely fucking love this bit. Right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh no, no. In fact, I can't. You won't hear it on this PC. Shit, I've got to play it on my laptop. Right.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll keep on talking. So, the movie itself, I think, it starts off nice and slow. I think it builds you up to a very long story, but I think it's well explained. The actors are phenomenal. I love all the small references like to Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, just little things like that, like meeting the presidents and
That was one of my favorite things, kind of, about this film was Forrest, like, kind of like talking about these historical things that have happened, and like one
Yeah.
of my favorites was when he was talking about the Ku Klux Klan. And he was saying like, "Oh, my mama said there are people that like to wear bed sheets and look like ghosts."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then all the he talks about when John Lennon got shot, when President John F. Kennedy got shot, and he's like, "I don't know why people want to shoot this nice man, but he went and got shot." And it's just, oh, it just makes me laugh. This film was hilarious in a very, I want to say a down to earth sort of way.
Or even when he went on his run, and he met up with the guy who made Shit Happens bumper stickers, and he come across the guy then who gave him a T-shirt because he couldn't work out a design, and he wiped his face on it, and it was the smiley acid face. And he's like, this guy went on to make loads of money, and it's just so good. It just refers to different points in history, like the Vietnam War, and all the big speeches at that big American that big American strip of water that I'll never ever remember what it is.
It's near the Jefferson Memorial Building. I don't know what the name of the water is, but that's where it is.
Well, I don't know what it is. So anybody, in fact, Grievatron might be able to give us that information, but I don't know. It's always ends up on films, and I'm like, I don't even know where that place is. I don't think I'd even like to go neither. It looks boring. But I just absolutely love this film. I love the connection he grows with Lieutenant Dan, the love that he's got for his mom, the loyalty he's got for Jenny, how he always and he come from nothing. He got nothing. His mom obviously had to sleep with the head teacher to get him into what we would say a normal quote
mainstream
unquote school, and it's he come from nothing. But he's been brought up with good values. He respects people. He sees the nice side in everybody, and he just gives everybody a chance. And people don't really give him a chance at first. They sideswipe him and they think he's just a bit of an idiot or he's an arsehole or he talks nonsense. And Lieutenant Dan just didn't give him one bit of attention at all. He hated him. And he hated him for saving him because all of Lieutenant Dan's ancestors had died in the war. And he felt like Lieutenant Dan felt like that was his destiny, that he had to fight in a war, a great war, well, to some, and die in it. And Forrest saved him, and he absolutely hated him for doing it. And in the end of all of that small saga and that part of the story, he ended up like loving Forrest, and he turned up to his wedding, and he got new legs because they got blown off, and he was married to or engaged to an Asian woman, which was kind of cliche really because he was he spent a lot of his time fighting Asian people, so to be that kind of tied that part of the story I think pretty well. But yeah, I just I could go on and on and on. I think other people need to say something, but I'm going to try and find this this clip, and I can't do two things at once. Hang on.
We say
Putting
take it away, Carl.
go.
Oh man. Well, look, it does a. This movie does a lot right, and I saw it once years ago. Probably when it first came out, actually around that time. I think we beat Man United in the League Cup final with '94. So I think I don't think it was at the cinema. I think it was out on probably on VHS back then.
I know somebody else has beat Man United just recently.
yeah, we'll talk about that later. And I thought it was all right. I felt that it was a bit dull and a bit long, and it wasn't really for me. Second time around watching it, I think I'm probably having the same opinion. It does a lot. It does a lot well. Like the CGI, for a time when CGI was very, very new, it does a really good job of putting him in these historic scenes, and they all work really, really well.
That's what I was like. I was like, how the hell are they doing that? In the mid-90s, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's super good. I mean, if you watch a lot of CGI from that era now, it looks terribly dated, and Forrest Gump doesn't really. It doesn't. It still looks pretty good. I think Tom Hanks does a brilliant job as the role. You know, he doesn't quite tip the scales into like, and without like, there's no politically correct way of saying it, but like if he'd have gone a step further, it would have made the movie either funny and it wasn't intended to be funny in parts.
Yeah.
You know, if it had just took his Forrest's like his personality and his behavior or his intelligent issues and stuff, and made them a bit more. You know, they were quite subtle. You know, he did a really good job of kind of not going that over the top with it, and I think that really it endeared the character to you, and it makes you feel like it's like you kind of like him and appreciate him and don't actually kind of get like feel uncomfortable or he's done a really good job with the way he portrays him. But I just think that the whole thing is just a little bit. It leaves me feeling flat. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not. I don't think it's a movie for me really. Like I can appreciate it, and I think some of the scenes are good, and I like the way he has a positive outlook on everything, and he literally has no ambitions of his own. It's just literally like, okay, I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to do it the best I can, and just focus on that. And yeah, there's a lot about his humility and his honesty. It's really, it's refreshing. So yeah, it's still not a movie for me, but I didn't not enjoy watching it. It's just it just leaves me feeling a little bit, maybe it's just a little bit dull. It's a long movie, I think, and I know Pete's going to probably disagree with me.
No, I don't think it is long when you compare it to like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and you put all that. Even I don't know. There's a whole ton of movies that are longer than this, and it might be because like you say, it's not hardcore action adventure, and it's
a lot of story. It's a lot of information to take in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I like the length of Lord of the Rings. Like I think those movies could have been longer, to be perfectly honest, because they still cut stuff from the book, even on the extended editions.
Yeah.
The Hobbit different. I think the Hobbit was just made ridiculously. They just added so much stuff in that didn't need to be there. But yeah, I mean, I am used to watching longer movies where it follows like Lord of the Rings story is a brilliant story, and you can't compare the storytelling from Tolkien to the script of Forrest Gump. There's no comparison between the two, in my opinion. But it's just I would be much happier if I was sitting through a 2.5 hour movie or whatever. Then if it had a bit more action in it. But it's not that kind of movie. I totally get it. I just think had they just trimmed maybe 15 minutes off it, it would have made it would have increased the ranking for me, I think.
Well, I don't know. I just I think the only disappointment really is the end for me, and maybe that's why I'd knock it down a little bit, because how can you end a movie like that apart from Forrest Gump dying? I suppose then It'd just leave you with a sad story. It left you there with, he's happy in life and he's got what he wanted almost. And it's hard to end a film like that. It's really, really hard, isn't it? And even though it could have, I don't know how it could have been better. I really don't. But they had to end it somehow, and I felt like they had to stop it somewhere. And I thought it was a decent point where they ended it. And yeah, but all the stuff before, it's just ace. Anyway, I've got the my favorite clip. I know it's the
Shall we-
audio, and you're not. Go on,
I
sorry.
was going to say, should we hear just what Carl wants to say about it briefly before we do that?
No.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
No, you don't want to. do
One
you?
thing I was going to say.
He's going to say it's shit.
Do you think that was his kid though?
See, I do.
Yeah.
Because I know that Jenny.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a goer. All right, let's throw it
Coming
out
back
there.
to like, oh, look, I want to be, for us because I need someone to look after me kid because I'm
Yeah.
blind. Yeah.
Yeah, could have been like, exactly that. Yeah. No, I think that I think it was from that naughty night that she conceived, but
Night
shame.
of passion. Yeah.
Poor Jenny.
Poor Jenny.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm updating the Super Six, which I've nearly done. So I remember last week, I should do, not that old yet, that I wasn't overly impressed that the film to be drawn was Forrest Gump. As you say, Katie, I'm kind of young, like you-ish. When when this film came out, I was 7 or 8, and I remember it being massive, and it sort of pissed me off. I don't know how old I was when I first watched it, but I know it was a very long time ago, probably teens, early mid-teens. I don't know, who knows. And I seem to recall, I don't actually remember all of it, so maybe I didn't watch it all, but I struggled to understand the character. It's not something I'm particularly good with. I'm trying to phrase this in a way that it makes sense, that doesn't sound horrible, because it's not horrible. I just struggle.
I know what you mean.
I just struggle. It's not something I can relate to. Any experiences of people in the same scenario as Forrest, I've struggled with greatly. It's just not it's just not something I'm strong at communicating or whatever. I'd feel very awkward. So ever since I became a dad, which was my mid-20s, my outlook on things changed, my emotions changed, and watching this film today, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got it. I enjoyed the whole lot. I'm almost a bit gutted that it's taken this long to actually go back and watch it again. But it's funny how things stick in your head. While still a lot of the stuff isn't relatable to me, I just enjoyed the story. Enjoyed the fact that, as you guys mentioned, that like his only real ambition is just to be with Jenny. She means the world to him, and he ends up doing all these things that you've mentioned, which would be huge in anyone's life. But he's not that fussed. It's just he in the right place, right time. People tell him to do this, that, and the other. And there's a couple of little bits that were obviously very sad. But Forrest knew about destiny, so he knew that things would happen. He understood very clearly, even though if he didn't know the way, he knew that it sort of would be okay in the end. And I think the film sort of completes that circle. As you say, he lost Jenny just after he lost his mum. They were in the same. That was in his house, wasn't it? That was the same bed, wasn't it? That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously that they had the kid. And the fact that it was the same. Well, it ended with him getting on the school bus, didn't it? So, which was sort of right at the beginning of the film, because Forrest Gump had not leg supports, leg braces. I'm not sure.
Braces, yeah.
Braces, yeah. And yeah, so he didn't fit in very well. And I like the way that the same thing happened when he was in the army and he got on the bus and still no one wanted him to sit
No one
next to
wants to
them.
next to him.
But yeah, I kind of liked how the film ended with the kid just getting on the school bus, and well, just prior to that, when he stood at the grave telling Jenny that he's looking after him, feeding him, and doing all the right things.
God, you'll get me going again in a minute. Stop
Yeah,
talking
right.
about it.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, from me, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this film. It's amazing.
What did you think of Bubba?
I loved Baba.
Yeah,
He's my
yeah.
favourite character, man.
It's one of the scenes that I say I did shed a tear.
Yeah, it was sad.
I will
Me
say
too.
just before you move on to the clip you got, Pete. I know you've been waiting eagerly there, but I would like to. The way I describe this film is actually, I feel like, to me in my head, it's a coming of age story. And I know when people think of coming of age stories, they think of like Children to Man, but I think a lot of his stuff, a lot of the growing up and I guess maturing, I feel like happened when he was an adult. When he became an adult, and he joined the army and he did all these things, and that's just the way I interpret it in my head. And as Kyle says, it goes everything comes full circle, and kind of, I feel, ties it up and maybe a little bit of a neat bow at the end. And I feel that's what I just think in my head, like a good coming of age story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So Pete, did you want to play?
Oh yeah,
your clip?
I got this clip right, and I've gone 38 seconds into it, but I really do want to play the whole 1 minute 17 seconds. I just love this film. I really do love this film. But no, I'll I suppose intro the start. It was at the army barracks when they meet the sergeant, and the sergeant walks up to Forrest and he says, "Come, what is your sole purpose in this army?" And he went, to do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant. And I was just like, I was in bits from that moment. And the thing that really got me was this. I'll play the audio. I'm hoping that it'll be okay. If you can't hear it, just shout. Can you hear it?
Can't hear very well. No.
Oh.
It's quiet.
Oh.
Why did you put that weapon together so quickly, Governor? On me, Drill Sergeant. Jesus H. Christ. This is a new company record. If it wouldn't be a waste of such a damn fine enlisted men, I'd recommend you for OCS, Private Gump. You are going to be a general someday, Gump. Now, disassemble your weapon and continue.
So for me, that was my favourite bit. It was just, yeah, it just worked like a horse because he was told to, and he was good at it. And yeah, but Bubba's in the background, just like
just slowly.
Yeah, he's on chill, like well, there's chili shrimp, there's
and that was his
shrimp
thing.
mayonnaise.
Shrimp.
Yeah, and I think it's, that just shows what of a great guy he is. He gave half of his money, as he said, to Bubba's family, and if you like, his mom fainted on the doorstep, and he kept his word, and I like the way that it rebutted in a sense, and Lieutenant Dan felt that Forrest had stuck to his word on a load of things, and ended up just helping him when he was the captain of a shrimp boat. And one thing I have got is the hats that they got, the bubblegum shrimp hats. I've got one of those.
Well, you've got one of those.
Yeah, my brother got me one when he went when he went over to the States. So I was hugely grateful for that. So I think I've gone on about this movie enough. I just love it.
There are so many good bits. I like it because the film did have dark themes, I think, littered throughout, but it was very nicely balanced with like the lightheartedness to it as well. Obviously, the character of Forrest Gump is very, as you said, he's lighthearted. He hasn't got an evil bone in his body, and he does whatever he's really told to do without questioning it really.
Yeah.
And that obviously brings about a lot of funny moments as well. And obviously some funny moments is when he's talking to the presidents after his many adventures and stuff. And then obviously you got the one, I can't remember which one's which, but when he goes to the party and he drinks all the Dr. Peppers.
Yeah, that's when he meets.
Like,
Is it JFK?
JFK,
Yeah.
and he go, and I think it's after the war, after he's come home from the war, or after a certain like massive battle or whatever. But he's the president's asked, giving him the medals. He's like, "Well done. Like, have you got anything to say?" And he's like, "I need to pee," because he's drunk 15 bottles of Dr. Pepper. And then I think the next one was when he actually got discharged because he got injured. Yeah, and it's And I think the president at the time, I can't remember the name of the president, but he's like, "Oh, what's your war wound?" And he says, "I got shot in the buttocks,"
Yeah.
which was one of my favourite scenes as well. It's just
and he shows him, doesn't he?
He shows him. Oh no, it is such a great film.
But
yeah, it's just the way I think it's that accent as well that gets me. It does. Makes it even funnier in a way that I hope it don't sound offensive, but it just makes it makes it funnier.
Alabama accent is slow, isn't it? It's
very slow and very country twang.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Unless you Yellow Wolf and he just talks too fast and raps too fast, but yeah, it is a slow accent, but I think it's endearing. I love it. It's really nice. But in a nutshell, you could wrap the story up really quickly. You could just say it's about a lad who's underachieving. His mom does whatever she needs to get him into school, and he manages to get through school and gets past his problem with his legs, and he ends up running and ends up going into the army and comes out and does fabulous things like a table tennis championship within the army teams, and goes on
runs across the whole of America in 2 weeks, or what was it? 2 weeks? I don't even know. What was it?
I think it took 3 years. It was
3 years.
Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah, he ends up running across America and doing fabulous things, and ends up owning a bubblegum shrimp company, and after that, just cuts lawns on his. With his mower. Oh yeah, the football. He was American footballer
as well.
Oh, but it's brilliant. And in the end, the girl that he's always dreamed of, Jenny, he ends up actually impregnating her, and they have a son called Forrest, but he doesn't know for 6 years. And he ends up finding out, and ends up dying of cancer, basically, and.
I think can we just talk about that, because I feel like I don't think it was cancer, because because in the film she says she's dying, but she doesn't. The doctors don't know what it is, things like that. And I had to look it up on Wikipedia after that, and I think it was HIV.
Oh.
Yeah, so that it's a virus that couldn't be cured, wouldn't it?
Oh, I stand corrected then. I am sorry.
Because throughout, obviously, the complete opposite to Forrest, she wasn't having a good time. Because she was obviously, she was a hooker for a long time, and then she turned in, and then she joined the hippies and the race war that was going on during America in the 60s and things like that. So I feel like that's obviously where she contracted that. But yeah, I just had to look that up, because she said in the film doctors didn't know what it was and it couldn't be cured.
Yeah, but she didn't pass that on to Forrest.
No.
That's the sequel there.
Yeah. Starring Pete Chin. Anyway, but it was good, and it was just left at a point where he was dropping his boy off at the bus stop, ready to go on the coach for his first day at school, and it was almost a repeat to when he started off, going to school, and his mama dropped him off. So I thought it's I don't know, it's a fabulous film. It is long for I suppose a little story of one character, but
I suppose the one thing that got me is when he found out that he was the father, he asked Jenny if he was like he was.
Yeah, that's what got me a little bit.
Yeah, he was concerned that he was going to be like he was. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he wanted to make sure that
he was okay.
He was going to have an easier life, I think, or more accepted, shall we say? Yeah. But yeah. So I'm done talking about the film, so I can't praise it anymore. So I suppose we should move on to what a few people on the Twitter sphere
Mm-hmm.
commented.
Oh, that's a good word.
Twitter sphere.
Twitter sphere.
I like it.
So Darshan Eslafo, he's got other plans this week, so he'll miss out on the stream. He's also not watched Forrest Gump recently. His only contribution is that he kept saying, and does anyone want to try and pronounce that?
Jenny. I can't even do it.
Margiano.
Johnny. It's funny.
So that's that.
I just love the way he says people's names. Diane, Bubba.
Yeah.
I just love his accent. I love it so much.
And when he was when Lieutenant Dan was introducing his fiance, this is my fiance, and I can't remember her name now, Sue. This is my fiance, Sue. And he turned around and he went, "This is my Jenny." And so good.
But we got next was Tim Paulin, and he basically just left a gift with Forrest saying, "I gotta pee," which was again one of the more funnier moments of the film.
We've got Dave, Yellowbug 1969 on Twitter. I love this movie. It's a bit long, but wouldn't the world be great if we all saw each other through the eyes of Mr. Gump? Amen.
Grievatron left a message saying it's been a few years since I've seen this. As well, I'll be listening to the podcast. I also joined last week.
Nice.
Am I reading this right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, God. Think it'd be best if I waited to join to let a film I can see easily, since I need to buy the film to watch it again. Not if you're friends with Katie. And yeah, so he's obviously saying that he couldn't watch it that week. So then we had a couple of gifts from Sean Cullen and Grievaton again. And it was in response to Katie's tweet about the show. So
one of them basically, just for the audio listeners, it was a cat with long legs, and it was like, "Look, Lieutenant Dan, I got new legs."
That was funny.
It was new legs, which I found quite funny. It was a funny gift, but people who were listening on audio are like, well, I don't care. Okay, let's move on.
There's Gabriel at SleepHit79, my buddy Gabriel from Twitter. Sweet, can't wait to hear this. I love Forrest Gump. Everybody's got a Jenny. And he's meant to comment about something else, but from the news. But shall I save that? Or shall I just roll it?
Yeah, just go for it.
Just roll it.
Okay. It says the Stadia also seems neat, and I'm open-minded to the idea of cloud-based gaming. Someone who has my TV hardwired to the Ethernet, I'm very curious about smart TV compatibility. Yeah, me too, man.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, Andy C5 broken his Twitter message apart as usual, so there's a bit for us later. But this part that's relevant says, this week's film, Forrest Gump, a charming and entertaining movie, funny at times, great acting, but sometimes it can be so annoying. I can't quite put my finger on what, but I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Well, it's a good job he's not on the fucking show. That would bring the ratings down, unless Cole's going to surprise us with a 4.
Well,
Yeah.
that's that.
Oh my God. Right. Let's move on to ratings.
Katie?
Right. As I said, I would have given it a 10, but I've gone for a 9.5. So very, very close.
Boom.
But the thing that did put it down to a 10 was probably the length of the film. As much as I'm not putting the film down or anything like that. I still thoroughly loved it. I probably will watch it again, probably at some point, maybe fairly soon, because I enjoyed it that much. But I feel like there's maybe a few scenes in there that maybe didn't need to be in there, or maybe shortened down just a bit. But still, a big 9.5 from me.
Awesome. Pete, what about yourself?
Do you know what? I was going to say a 9. And mine was only purely for the length of the film, and maybe just because the ending was a bit bland and it didn't leave anybody with anything really. It was just like, oh yeah, okay, it's almost an happily ever after. I think, I don't know. So that's why I said a 9, but that's still a healthy score, I think, for a great film. But yeah.
On the back of your 9, I also give it a 9. Not one point through this film I wasn't enjoying myself. I have a bad habit of checking how long are the films left, especially when I'm watching on such tight timelines. But I didn't find myself doing that with this, and as I say, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, very good. 9 for me. And last but by no means least, Carl.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a 5 yet on the show,
Oh,
And-
fuck you now.
and we're not going to get one here. So it is not a bad movie. I'm not going to scoot that low. For me, though, it just doesn't hit the mark. It just doesn't do it for me. So I would give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's got a lot going for it, but it doesn't really kick it for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, the average then is the average score is 8.6.
Ooh.
So that is
Very
going to be the highest
healthy.
film, right?
And I think it's probably one of the films where we've had most comments from on Twitter, whether they've seen it or not. You know, people have heard of it, or the people have got
Well-
some reference to it, or
Well, I feel like this film is like Shutter Island was one that a few people knew. Pan's Labyrinth, even though it wasn't English, was one that people knew.
yeah.
But I feel like this one was probably like the first film on the list that we've had that is like a lot of people, I think, knew.
Well, I mean, I sat and watched it with Shell, and the one thing I did straight after last week's show, pretty much, is I watched this the next day, and I'm glad I did that. Actually, it's quite a good thing to do. I think I'll do that with this week's movie, whatever it is, unless I can't get my hands on it. And Shell was like, "Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this. I've seen this. I stuck it on." She's like, "I don't remember this bit. I don't remember this bit. I don't remember this bit.
It's always the
Hang
way.
on, I don't remember this bit neither." And it turns out she hadn't watched it. All she'd seen is like either clips of trailers or from what people had told her, or little clips on Facebook or whatever she'd seen. She hadn't seen the film. She didn't know how it had ended. So it's got that much popularity that people had just seen clips and think that they've already seen it.
Mhm.
But yeah, she thoroughly enjoyed it as well.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, I suppose all that is left to do is for Carl to generate a film for us to watch for next week.
Ooh, okay, here we go then.
I need to get a
3,
drum roll.
2,
Yeah, you
1.
do.
It is number 126.
Mm.
126, which is, if we scroll down. Oh, it's a movie I haven't seen. It's called Room.
Oh, fuck.
Is this a horror film?
This is hard. Watch this is.
2015.
Sounds like a horror film.
No.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not. Okay, it's not. I just looked at it and thought, is that a horror film? Like, this is gonna be my first horror film? Like, no, it's not. It's an independent drama film.
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
It is good.
Let's
Okay.
see.
That's
Oh,
not
it's got
one I've
it's
seen.
Captain Marvel. Just looking at the cast, it's Captain Marvel.
Oh, no.
No, it is good, Carl. It's an emotional one.
Is it?
Oh no,
Okay.
we just had an emotional one. I feel. God.
No,
Well, she
this
might
is.
prove me wrong as an actress, though, so I'll give that a shot. Yeah.
Or to put it in a nutshell, it's about somebody who got kidnapped and had a child in a room, and that's where they live
Oh.
for years. So it's one of those. It's good. I think.
Okay.
It'd be
It's
interesting.
also-
It'd be interesting to
Cool.
find out what everybody else thinks about it.
It's also on Prime Video, so there you go.
Nice.
Dun,
Yes.
dun, dun.
At least it's
Okay.
not Moon. Oh my god, has anybody ever seen that film? Mike raves on about it. Moon.
Which moon?
Moon.
I don't think so.
Don't worry
What
about
about
it.
Button Moon?
Nah, Button Moon.
Oh,
Moon,
man.
yeah.
Button Moon the movie. I bet that'd be the top 250.
Oh,
Follow
it's
Mr.
that man.
Smooth,
If you ain't seen it,
Button Moon,
it's- he loves it, doesn't he? Carl.
I used to love
Getting
that
into
as
that.
a kid.
Button Moon was fucking ace.
Mm. So it's slightly off topic. Yeah. So I look forward to seeing that one I haven't seen. So I guess we shall move on to a game section. And kicking off the news, we'll go with the last story first. Obviously, the more important one that's happened in the last week or so, the Nindies showcase for Nintendo. So, Kate, you put this in, and I was reading the notes just before the show, and I read the hyperlink, and in the link it says Cuphead coming to Switch, which I immediately had to watch. And yeah, Cuphead is coming to the Switch, and it is just shy of a month away. There's other stuff as well, but I won't click the link because my internet seems to shit the bed when I will try and do anything else. But that is awesome. I shall probably be double dipping and buying it again on the Switch because I love the game so much.
Have
But
they not changed it then, Kyle? Is it just the same?
it's just the same as far as I know.
Oh, that's a
There's no
shame.
mention of the DLC because there's DLC coming this year. But yeah, no mention of that. And unfortunately, it is a digital thing. I would love them to release like a special collector's edition of this game. But yeah, unfortunately, this is not it. So, Katie, is there anything else you wanted to add on this? Because say I can't click
I
the
have
link.
something.
Oh,
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Carl?
You missed the best game of this announcement. Has anyone ever played Crypt of the Necrodancer?
So I haven't, no.
Oh,
It's basically a
game's so
a
good.
Legend of Zelda version, right?
oh, I can't wait. It looks brilliant. It looks so cute. Crypt of the Necrodancer is basically like a kind of that game, like a adventure dungeon crawler kind of thing, and you have to press the directional buttons in time with the beat, and when you press them in time with the music, you move a step and the baddies move a step.
I've heard the music in that game, and it's the music. I haven't played it, but the music sounds epic.
It's good. The music's good anyway, but I've got it on Steam, and you can import your own music, so you can just get your own music library, upload all your stuff, and just play along to whatever beat you want to play to. It's epic. But as soon as I saw that trailer and you can play as the normal character in there, or you can play as Link and Zelda as well. It looks wicked. I've got to be getting this.
And the other thing I wanted to add, because I've just scrolled down the list, and mainly I was going to just, if I was talking about it, I would just bring up Cuphead and that. But now I've just scrolled down the link I put in, and there is a Stranger Things game coming. Stranger Things, and it looks like it's very 8-bitty looking, just looking from the video in the link, just the screenshot. But yeah, retro style adventure game based on this third season. Well, I'm assuming it's the third season of Stranger Things, so that'll be coming out as well. Okay, so with that one done, the big one I put in is that obviously I think it was a few weeks back, I spoke briefly about, Google had this massive thing planned for GDC, which happened yesterday, and they've revealed their venture into gaming, I guess if you will, and it's called the Stadia. The Stadia. I don't know where that name came from, but they've revealed the Stadia, which for me, from what I've heard, it sounds like it's basically Netflix but for games. And just trying to look at the list of details, or trying to remember the details I've heard, it's going to be out this year. I can't remember the exact date, but I don't know if there was an exact date they announced, but I think it's this year. It's going to launch in the US, Canada, UK, and Europe first. So it's pretty much near enough half of the world already first. But they've got, it will support crossplay apparently, and they've also got a studio. I think it's called Stadia Game Studios or something like that. And I can't remember the name of the woman, but they've got a woman who was she worked at EA for a long time, and she was also, I think, the head of Ubisoft Toronto or Ubisoft Montreal. I can't remember her name. Her name escapes me at the moment, but she's the head of this new studio, which I think is actually going to be making games. So that's it. That's the part that probably interests me. It's like it's another studio that will make games, so that just gets my attention. And there have also been some big name studios joining them as third-party studios. Two of them being Ubisoft, and I think it was From Software. Obviously, Ubisoft, creators of Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, Far Cry, Rainbow Six Siege, many big games. And From Software, people who made, obviously, well-known for Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and things like that. I'm pretty sure it was From Software. That was the other one. But no, it's pretty big. I mean, people have said this apparently has been not done. It's not been attempted. It's been attempted before, not by Google, but I can't remember who tried it before. But there is something called something Alive. I can't remember the name of it, but apparently it was very similar to this. It was going to be like a streaming type service thing. On Live, that was it. Yeah. And it was going to be, like this. It's going to be a streaming service for like games you could probably pick up and play. And people said it just failed horrifically. It didn't really go anywhere. But I think people, from what I've seen on social media, that people are like 50-50 at the moment. There's people that are excited for this, and then there's people that are like, don't really want to see it because I like physical media. It's a little bit of a sad thing because that means, physical media is just, it's the way the world's going at the moment. Digital is the new thing. Physical is slowly dying off. But I think people are a little bit more hopeful for this because it's Google. And obviously Google have got a lot of money. They've got a lot of resources. And I feel like if they could pull this off, I feel like if anyone could pull something like this off, I feel like Google would probably be a good shout to do something like this. And it's also on the hyperlink. If you scroll down on the link I've put in the show notes, you can see the controller. I feel like most people that are interested in this already have probably seen the controller, which basically looks like the PS4 and Xbox controller had a baby. That's what it looks like. Basically, it just looks like they've, I don't want to say stolen, but they've kind of like got, I guess, been inspired by their controllers that have made their controller very similar to basically both of those in a way.
What could you do though to say, oh yeah, this is completely different? You can't, can you?
You can't. That's the thing. That's why I feel like the best way to say it is the PS4 controller and Xbox controller had a baby. It's basically what it looks like. There's a lot of people thinking it doesn't look very good, but I feel like it just a fucking controller to me.
The
But
sticks are in the wrong place for me. It looks crap.
yeah. But what are your guys' thoughts on this exactly? If you're interested in it at all.
I agree with the money side of things, Katie. If Google, as big as it is, and some of the hardware that they've got out there, I recently bought a Chromebook for my mom, and it starts up well for people who just use the web, go onto BBC iPlayer or ITV catch up and stuff like that. They've got this Chromebook, and I don't know, it's about 300 quid or maybe a little bit more. I can't remember now. And it starts up in 10 seconds. It's like lightning. It's got its own firmware. It's got its own antivirus. It's not Windows compatible at all. So some of the bits that you'd buy in the shops, like wireless mouses and stuff that go with it, you have to be careful that you don't buy only Windows and Apple compatible gadgets that with that Chromebook, because they just won't work. But this thing is slick. It's so user friendly. It's unreal. And
from people, I was going to say briefly, from people that have journalists and stuff that have been lucky enough to be allowed to try, I guess, like the alpha stage of this device. There's been, I think, the big game they tested for this. I think it was probably about a year or two ago. I don't know. No, not a year, not 2 years ago, because the game wasn't out. But I think a year ago, and I don't know. I think it was done. They tried to do it in secret, but it obviously got leaked and everything. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was tested on this, I think, and people said it would load up in like 5 seconds, like streaming quality, obviously not downloaded or anything. They're like how you stream an episode off Netflix. Someone managed to stream Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it was done in 5 seconds, and things 5 to 10 seconds it took to be like perfectly playable, 4K, things like that. But then obviously, just before you continue, that's wherever this secret place they tried it out was at, the internet was probably very good, and that's obviously the downside that people are kind of thinking. They're a bit skeptical, like what happens if you don't have good internet? That's the thing.
I know, but a lot of people have, I suppose. Well, I'm talking UK. I can't speak for anywhere else in the world, but we seem to connect well enough with the US and some parts of Europe. So I don't know. I think Google's got money, and cash is king. They're gonna plow. I would imagine. Well, I hope so. I hope they plow as much money into it as possible just to make it work and to change this generation of having consoles and PC and stick it all together or join us all up. Because that's the thing that really pees me off, that we're segregated purely because of the greed of some corporate companies. It is greed.
Well, this is supporting crossplay, so there you go.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, PlayStation could do this apparently at the flick of a switch, or it wouldn't be much work for them, really, would it? I mean, I heard some podcast earlier in the week, and there was on about Fortnite being, is it Fortnite or Apex Legends that was going to be took off Switch, and you could only play
Fortnite.
Fortnite. what the fuck? What's all that about? You know, why would you do that?
Because I get that, because it's 60 frames versus 30 frames. So Switch players are at a disadvantage against people on PC.
Okay.
And consoles. So I kind of understand that, but
Okay.
it does suck, like, for people who, because my son plays with his mate, and Luke plays on Xbox. His mate's got a Switch, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a problem for you, isn't it? But his mate's got a PC, so we'll just play on PC. But yeah.
So the frames per second, what is it? Is it causing havoc for people who've got PC running at 60 frames per second, or is it vice versa?
Not havoc, but if you play a shooter and someone's playing at 60 frames and someone's playing at 30 frames, the person playing at 30 frames is at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the frame rate, because they'll see things slightly slower.
Well, just on that, I think just to do a Fortnite, just going off on a little side note now because it's come to mind. PS4 players, I think, are being partnered up with Xbox players, and then I think Switch is being partnered up with mobile, apparently.
Yeah.
Just to try and fight that problem of FPS. So but I'm not sure where PC lands into that. I'm not sure if PC is just the overall. It's like the supreme overlord and can play anybody on anything.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. It just I hope that Google plow the money into it to optimize it all for everybody to come together, regardless of frame rate, regardless of what you own, and I know it's going to be a big shake-up for some of these for some of these companies, and well, they've got their exclusivities. I understand that, but I just wish somebody could. I know it's monopolizing. I know it's capitalism, but I just to join the players, I think would be great.
I don't think we'd ever get to that point. I mean, it looks revolutionary, and it'd be awesome, and I'd totally be down for signing up for whatever it is. But at the same time, I'd still buy my consoles and I'd still have my physical copies as well.
That's what a lot of people are saying. That, like, even if this thing does come out and it's a success, I think people still say it's got a long way to go for it to kick Xbox or Sony out of their lives.
You've got people with data caps as well. Like, a load of people in America have data caps unless they're on really expensive data plans. So they're not going to be streaming games all the time.
No.
And that's not to say it couldn't be a great success elsewhere. You whack it in like Tokyo or in parts of Europe. The UK is not too bad in different areas where there's real Canada. There's a real good high speed internet. But you never got Sony aren't going to jump on board with this. I wouldn't imagine Microsoft would either, especially with their own service. So it all depends on.
Yeah, this is the other thing. Sorry, I keep on interrupting, don't I? I've had a beer, and the one thing that I'm worried about is some of these. Well, like Steam had everything, didn't they, before Valve, and now Epic, EA, they've got their own little services, even the Xbox with Game Pass to a degree. But I hope they don't all individually silo themselves and end up being their own little product where we've got to keep ploughing money monthly into so many different services that, again, as a consumer, that would piss me off. I suppose your loyalty should lie with somebody that you've been with the most. So if somebody's pro PlayStation or somebody's pro Xbox, then you'd go for those, wouldn't you? Because you wouldn't invest in something new unless you've got spare cash and you just wanted to be a little bit adventurous and find out what it was like, unless you wanted to, I don't know, test it for a month. But it's better the devil sometimes, isn't it? And I'm a Microsoft fanboy. I put all my money there. I just hope they don't all branch into silos where we've all got to spend more money. That's the other thing as well. I don't know. It's
an interesting thing.
Yeah,
that's why I included it, because I knew it would have an interesting talk about it.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to shut up now.
Have you got anything to say about it, Carl, before I quickly move on? If it's anything that interests you?
Not for me, particularly. Don't know enough about it just yet, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm keeping an open mind.
You like to hoard stuff, though.
Yeah, pretty much. You're just bitter about the 500 million edition PlayStation that's still set up on.
Yeah. There's not a day that goes by I don't think about you just dusting that and just be like, yeah, that'd be nice in a few years.
Yeah, it's still up on the cupboard. It hasn't moved.
Yeah, for God's sake.
Okay. So,
Yeah. The only thing I would just quickly add on this whole subject is that if you look at, we still got people struggling with the movement from physical games to digital games, and that's owning the game that you've got. PC gaming has been digital only really for, I mean, God, what, best part of 10 years probably. When you think about it, and games, every single game you could want is cheaper on PC. Everyone. So if it was a cost thing, everybody would automatically have gone across to play games on PC rather than sticking with Sony and Microsoft, etc. So there's definitely a pull with these big boys, with Nintendo as well, with their first party games, and as long as they retain those first party games on their individual consoles, then this can run alongside them. I'm sure it'll do fine that way, but it's never going to replace them, I don't think.
No. Okay, so yeah, the Stadia, there's something to keep your eye on. I wonder where they got that name from. Very curious. But anyway, second story I put in, I'll just cover quickly, is No Man's Sky is getting another huge update called No Man's Sky Beyond, which basically will include multiplayer, which is something I think that was very much talked about when Sean Murray, the person who made the game, when they revealed it all those years ago at E3. And multiplayer, so basically, you actually, when you're traveling around the galaxy, your galaxies and stuff like that, you will run across other players. And apparently they are thinking about I don't know if this is going to make people go, oh no, because it's going to turn it into something else, PvP or PvE, whatever it is. They're thinking maybe that might be on the cards at some point, but we'll see. I mean, I do play No Man's Sky. I mean, I got back into it heavily when it had its last huge update, which basically I think it changed the game. It made it a lot more interesting. And if this is a thing, well, it sounds like it very much is going to be a thing. I'm not sure when this update is going to drop, but I will definitely jump back into it because I got a load of friends that play No Man's Sky, and obviously No Man's Sky. Think about probably towards the last part of last year, they introduced crossplay with certain consoles and stuff. I think it was PlayStation 4 and Xbox. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, I'll definitely be thinking about getting back into this. Have any of you guys actually played No Man's Sky? I feel like I might be the only person that's played it.
No.
You haven't played it?
Yeah, I've played it. I've got it on PS4. I played it some when it first came out. I really enjoyed it, and then when they did the big update, I picked it back up and had another go. It's one of the games I've always wanted to get on Steam, but I know that I wouldn't play it enough if I doubled it. So, but yeah, I think it's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I own this game on PS4, and I've never played it, so it's still in the cellophane, I think.
This might be a time now because you'll be able to play with your friends.
Yeah, true.
And the last piece of news I got on, I found was, it's something I've been wondering, but now they have come out and confirmed it. Bethesda have confirmed they will be at E3, and they have said it's going to be a hell of a night. And apparently, it's just a little quote here. E3 is coming in on Sunday, June 9th, 5:30 p.m. PT. Team Bethesda returns to Los Angeles for our 5th annual Bethesda E3 showcase. It's going to be a hell of a night. We have got an in-depth look at Doom Eternal, plus much, much more. And it surprised me. It did surprise me. I will say, well, for two reasons. Is the main one being Fallout 76, the thing they really pushed last year, was a shit show. It was absolutely terrible. I mean, it had an update not long ago, but people were saying it's still paving over the cracks. It's not nearly enough. It's got a hell of a long way to go for people to, actually say this is a good game. So that was one of the things where I thought, like, maybe they might consider doing something like Nintendo do, instead of actually putting on a show, getting those tickets sold, etc., etc. And then the second reason I'm surprised they actually said they will be at E3 is because obviously PlayStation announced a little while ago they're not going to be there. They're going to do like a Nintendo Direct type thing. And then same with EA. They announced not long after that they won't be at E3 in conference form this year either. They're going to also do something like that. So it made me either think Bethesda's either going to follow that, or it's going to try and shoehorn its way into that top spot, which was probably either the EA slot or the PlayStation slot. So I'm not sure which one they've taken, if they've taken it at all, which I think they have, because obviously the big one now will be Microsoft. You still got Ubisoft, and then you got Bethesda, and then I can't really think of much bigger conferences that are actually there. So, But no, I'm surprised. I mean, it sounds like the big game they're gonna show off is Doom Eternal, which apparently, just going back to the Google thing, this will apparently Doom Eternal will launch on the Stadia. I think they said it will be. That's when it releases. You can play that straight away. Apparently on the Stadia. I'm not sure if that means it will be on there first. That's what it sounds like. So that's a big thing for Bethesda, and I guess a big thing for Google. But yeah, it does make me think now. Obviously they're going to talk about Doom Eternal. They've made that very clear, and apparently they are going to talk more about Starfield, their new IP that's coming out. But I just think the elephant in the room is going to be Fallout 76, and people are just going to I just don't know how people are going to react when, is it Todd Howard, not the owner of the company, but one of the CEOs of the company? Like, what? I don't know how people are going to react to him.
I'd throw a dildo at him.
That's what people are saying. Are they going to boo him? Are they going to? I'm not sure if they're going to be really angry, because obviously I feel like the people that pay to be in those seats, because I feel like for E3 you pay for a certain conference in particular. Like when you go to a conference and you want to meet actors, you pay for a certain photo op for a certain actor. I feel like it's the same thing. So I feel like people who pay their money to go to a Bethesda conference are people that maybe enjoyed Fallout 76 or don't really care, or they just want to see what's next for Bethesda.
I think it was just hyped out of its arse, that game.
It was.
Yeah.
They're just Elder Scrolls fans, probably.
That's what I feel like, because I feel like they might. Because that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if they're going to, sweep Fallout 76 under the carpet, pretend it never happened. Are they going to make fun of it? I don't think they're going to make fun of it like they did. Last year they kind of poked fun at Skyrim, did that Alexa advert type thing. But I feel like it's too soon to make fun of it, because there's probably a lot of people out there that are still feeling very, very cheated, I think, when it comes to Fallout 76. I don't think they'll make fun of it. So I don't think they're going to address it. In all honesty, I don't think they're going to talk about 76. I feel like they'll act like it never happened, to be honest.
And to be honest, how can you blame them? Because they'll be damned if they do and damned if they don't. So they might as well just forget it and move forward.
Yeah. But that was the last bit of news. I was just interested and very surprised to see that they will be at E3 this year. But there you go.
With the more talks of next generation, they're bound to have their Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever it is, an update on that as well as the other bits you've mentioned. So yeah, I see why they're there. But every year, I think for the last couple of years at least, Bethesda have always been pretty slated with what they've brought to the table anyway. It's been quite a long show, and they've had like 2 games and a couple of extra little bits.
I had a friend that said, I think we had a conversation about this, and the friend actually said he hated 76. He was like me, he did buy it, and he thought, why did I buy it? I don't know why I did. It was terrible. But they did say if they just start off their conference with an actual, not gameplay, but an actual proper trailer for the next Elder Scrolls, people will be like, okay, let's forget about 76. We love you again. That's kind of what it will be like.
With Fallout 76, if it was called, I don't know what, 76, it wouldn't have sold. If you put Fallout in front of it, it's going to sell, and that's why people were disappointed, because it wasn't what they wanted. But yeah, that's ultimately the reason people bought it, is purely because it said Fallout.
Yep, that's why I bought it.
Yeah, exactly, and you would do, because Fallout is a good brand.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they missed the mark. I'm not sure quite how or why. I haven't been back to it, although I would like to. But it felt lonely, didn't it? But anyway, enough with Bethesda. They do good things, as buggy as they are. Okay, well, I suppose we shall move on to games played, and as directed by the big boss, I shall go start with Katie.
Right. I've been still been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'm thoroughly loving it. But I wanted to talk about something different this week that I've actually jumped back into, and that is Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is the Star Wars MMO. And now I think I've said it in the past, but the way with me with MMOs is I kind of like played them in bits, if that makes sense. Like I'll jump in and when I really want to play, when I really want to play an MMO, I will just play it non-stop. I think for I would say probably about a month, maybe a little bit more. And then there's times where I will just stop and I'll feel like I'm not in the mood for it. It's boring me a little bit. I have to stay away from it. So that's how I am with MMOs, and I'm currently in that period where I'm like, I want to play a bit of Star Wars: The Old Republic again. And I've actually jumped in, because normally what I do when I jump into Star Wars, I keep saying Knights of the Old Republic, it's not that. When I keep jumping into Star Wars: The Old Republic, I always tend to start like a new campaign, like a new story with a new character. But this time I thought, no, I'm going to jump into the expansions, which there's, I think this first one that I've started, which I'll talk about in a minute. It came out in 2015, and then since then I think they've had 4 or 5 different expansions, which have been highly regarded as just epic expansions and real good games, I guess you could say, because that's what they feel like. And it's obviously done by BioWare, so the stories are being told very well, and the characters are epic. Obviously, they get their knowledge from Luke. Obviously, Lucasfilm helps them with their Star Wars knowledge and stuff, but BioWare are really good at telling really awesome, epic stories and making you just feel truly epic when you play these stories. And yeah, so I have got back into I keep saying Knights of the Old Republic, for God's sake. I've got back into the Old Republic, and as I said, I've jumped into the first big expansion, which is called Knights of the Fallen Empire. It was, as I said, it was released in 2015. And basically, a brief little story is when you reach level 60, you can only do these expansions when you reach level 60. So you obviously it's highly advised that you finish the main campaign. By the way, you can play for free. So if you love Star Wars, I would definitely recommend it. But so you have to complete your character's main campaign. My character is a Jedi. So at level 60, the expansion will begin. Your character is frozen in carbonite and awakens 5 years later. 5 years after the events of your campaign. I won't spoil obviously that. But yeah, you're frozen in carbonite. You awake 5 years later to find that the Eternal Empire has become the dominant force of the galaxy, and the player, you, becomes the Outlander and builds an alliance to wage war against the Eternal Empire, which is basically just this old empire, basically, that are just they don't favor. They don't favor the Empire. They don't favor the Republic. They are very neutral in that respect, but they know the Force, and they're very neutral with it. But they still think that there's so much just infighting and just petty fights going on between the Republic and the Empire at this point in time that it's kind of like a Thanos thing. When I heard the story, I kind of felt like it was very similar to what Thanos was doing in Infinity War. That they just kind of they just want to wipe them out for the sake of the rest of the universe, so they can live in peace. And that's basically what this Eternal Empire is. It's doing. It's a very confusing story just to talk about if you don't know these games very well. But that's just a brief summary I will give. And no, it is a lot of fun, and you can just tell from these cinematics. I would highly recommend people who are in the stream right now just to watch these cinematics that I've got going on for Knights of the Fallen Empire, and because these cinematics that are playing right now, they're so good, so well done, and it just makes you fills you with so much hype to play these expansions. So if you're into MMOs, if you're into Star Wars, I'd definitely recommend you jumping into these.
Game I've only dabbled with, and one I really would like to play a bit more of. It's just time.
Mm-hmm.
I do love an MMO.
Oh, good. And it's also the reason it is this game actually, this MMO, which is it's the reason why I think the Old Republic is my favorite Star Wars era. Like, there's so much that is just that needs to be uncovered, which I feel like this game does a very good job at. But yeah, that is me.
Alrighty, Carl, I stole this one off you. But feel free to join in because I haven't got a lot to say about it.
Together, mate, can't we? So good.
Yeah, more than definitely. Or yeah. I don't know whether Pete's changing the thing or whether he's there somewhere. But anyway, the game is The Division 2. I think we were talking about it on the last show with Mark Annex and Mike. And yeah, so I picked this up day of release, installed it, and only played it last night. And I think you were in a very similar boat, Carl. Is that right?
I was, mate. I was right there with you. Installed it and then just had literally had no time to do anything else. It's a huge install as well. You're talking 60-odd gig off the disc, and with my internet speeds, they're not brilliant. So it took a good evening to just download ready. So yeah, I think we literally started the opening of it at the same time, didn't we? To be fair.
Yeah, yeah. And so far, we played what 2-3 hours. Just trying to trying to learn everything because it's very similar to Division 1. And right before we finished for the last half hour or so, Marcanix did actually join us for a little while, and then they would do something with the servers, weren't they? So they switched the servers off, which was handy. I suppose that's one way to call it a night. But yeah, so where are you now? You'll have to remind me of where your base is and stuff and what's happened because
I think it basically takes place. The first game is all set in New York and all around Manhattan. And this game starts with basically, you're in New York, you're still fighting a good fight, and there's a bit of a distress signal that comes through, and it's like the capital's in trouble, and the game essentially starts with that. You're an agent who goes over there to help out, and Washington has completely been taken over by these gangs, and you have to try and bring a bit of order to the place. The actual game is very, very similar, obviously, to the First Division game. Just a few tweaks. They've ramped up the enemy AI massively. I think. Me and Carl, we were doing okay, weren't we, mate? We was, chipping away. We didn't die. We revived each other, I think, at different points. But then Mark Anix joined us, and he was level 14. I think we were level 2, and the game does something quite clever. When someone joins, everyone boosts up to the higher level, but the enemies also boost up as well. And while that sounds fine in practice, we found it a little bit difficult with we didn't have the same perks. We didn't have the same obviously every level you unlock different things to use and stuff. So, and although it gives you a boost to your weapons and your gear, obviously you haven't had enough experience and you haven't got the same perks and unlocks and stuff. So I do think it's a little bit imbalanced then, because we were getting destroyed. Even Marcanix was getting hammered quite a bit by some of these guys, and the enemy AI, they flank you. They're real good at hiding behind stuff and trying to draw you out. And very, very good tactical shooters so far. I'm quite enjoying it. Obviously, only a couple of hours into it, but it's a game I'm going to be sinking a ton of time in. I just know I'm already itching to get back around the streets of Washington and find some of those collectibles and some of the gear that you need to craft your own items and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to try and maybe get a regular night where we just spend some time in Division 2. I can't add anything more. It was a while since I played Division 1. It does feel similar with certain things, but the menus are different. And thanks to another game that I've been playing, I won't mention in too much detail, but of Far Cry New Dawn. There's a couple of the buttons are a bit annoying. On Far Cry, the start button on the Xbox controller brings up like the save menu, and the other button, select, or the button with the lines on, whatever it is, actually brings up like all your map upgrades and all the rest of it. Whereas with the Division, you have to press start to get the map up, I think. And anyway, I keep getting the buttons mixed up. That's just me being an idiot. So yeah, Carl, look forward to hopefully jumping in, getting some more hours, and maybe talking about it in a bit more depth next time.
Sure, mate.
But that I think is it for me, other than the usual things I get up to, like Gems of War, but we don't talk about that very often. Still playing that annoying game.
I do still look for you logged onto that when I come onto my Xbox. I must admit, I do look out for that.
Yeah.
The only other thing I've been playing is Devil May Cry 5, and again a few missions into that. It's an awful lot of fun, this game. I didn't play the last Devil May Cry game, but I thought it's about time I jump back in. I was feeling the urge to play, and it's beautiful looking. It's the same mechanics, just fun and ridiculous, over the top, lots of combos and using your guns and your swords and whatever. But you get to play as the 3 different characters in this, and I think that's quite interesting. I started off with Nero, who was the guy from the last game. You get your arm ripped off, and you've got the kind of replacement arms to use, and they can affect your combos in different ways and stuff. It's very very fun. I do admit that. It's a bit of a not a guilty pleasure, but some gaming purists might frown a little bit on Devil May Cry because it is just a button masher. But I found it fairly straightforward. I put it on the easy difficulty level just so I can get through. Learn a little bit about it, play through the story, and I'm quite enjoying the story so far. So yeah, it's definitely one of the more polished games of this year, and a fine looking game as well. I'm playing on the PS4 Pro, and it does look stunning, to be fair. So yeah, looking forward to getting this one done, and I'm sure it'll be up there at the end of the year in my favourites, I think.
Have you streamed any of this or plan to stream any?
No, I haven't streamed any yet. I might do, but I suck at it too much, I think, to be focusing on getting the combos right and getting A and B and S ranks and actually trying to stream it. So I'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. Alrighty, is that it for you, or anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, that's it for me, mate.
Okay, Pete, it's over to you with a game that I think I may have to pick up so I can join in. If you're back from having a wee.
I'm on mute. Oh, how professional. I've gone for a wee. No, you know what? Sometimes it's so difficult just to type in all of the things ready for the next stream. But anyway, I'm here now. I'm good, and I've got it on the screen. Okay, Trials Rising. Has anybody else played this game?
I haven't.
No.
No?
Only the beta, mate. I've still yet to pick it up.
Have you played any of the previous Trials?
I think I had a go of one of them once.
Yeah.
I can't remember it, to be honest. I didn't play it for very long.
Okay, so the premise of the game is you're someone on a motorbike. You can pick your character. You can be male, female, and fly away on your little motorbike called the Squid, which is your first bike that you've got. When you start off, it's a level up system, and it's like anything else. You've got a whole bunch of courses. You've just got to fly through them, and I didn't read the instructions before the game, just like a typical bloke. I just went for it, and you can lean, you can brake, obviously, and you can do all types of stunts. And I just thought, well, I'm not going to look into any tips. I'm just going to go for it. And man, this game is tough. I think there's a big element of luck to the game, but I struggled so much to start off with, and then we've on the WhatsApp chat that I think are you all on there?
I'm in there.
Yeah, I think
I'm in there. Yeah.
Oh, Katie, are you
In what?
in our OC WhatsApp chat?
I don't think I am.
Right, whoever it is who runs that chat, Greg, Mark, pull your fucking finger out. Can you just include Katie into it, please? All right, I've had enough shit off them last week about being ginger. They need to be a little bit more inclusive as a podcast. So yeah, I'm completely hooked on this. I've not really spent that much time on it to start off with, and I really, really needed some education regarding this. And one of the better players, not Greg, I think his name's Nick, he said, why don't you try Trials University? And there's this part to the map where you can try different parts of a course, and it gives you hints and tips on how to control your bike and how to control your character, because you can lean forward as you go up a ramp. You can lean back when you're going up a ramp. You can lean back a little bit, and then you can lean forward as you're going further up, or you can go central to the bike, and your body weight is kind of crucial to where you're moving in the course. And I didn't know any of this, so only through going onto this part of the map through the universities and going through the tutorials and the challenges, I've started to get better. So I was terrible to start off with, and now I think I'm holding my own a little bit. I've started to. You can add your friends as ghosts, so you can race against them on the course. And yeah, Bongo. I know I beat him on a course last night, and I think Mark Anix as well. I beat on a couple of courses, and I'm starting to hold my own now. I'm starting to catch up with these, and I felt like I was really a real bad novice to start off with. But I got some flack on the last OC podcast, um, but I only played probably an hour or so of the game. Last night I played a few hours and made a few marks on the table. So I know Mark Anix is going to be. Well, I know he is because he's already like, oh well, as soon as I get back from work, I'm going to spend a couple of hours on this, and I'm gonna fucking destroy you. So I could tell I've pissed that guy off because I'm winning, and the competition's healthy. There's about 6 players I think playing so far, and it's part of a contest that the Overseas Connection podcast are doing, and it's really enjoyable. I've not played anything else. I was gonna load up Crackdown 3. I've installed it on my Xbox Ready, and I come to play it tonight. Then she'll come back with some grey paint, and we just thought, right, we'll just carry on and finish Kira's room. So I never ended up playing it. So this is all I've played this week. It's very enjoyable. It at the same time though, it's frustrating because you do fail a lot, you do crash a lot, and there's a lot of pressing the back button and starting the course all over again. So if you're okay with the challenge, if you're okay um, with a repetitive course that you have to try and beat your own time on, then yeah, this is a good game for you. The graphics are ace. The sounds, uh, the music is so cool. That the sound clips of like the actual biker themselves is really good. It's that I think you can pick from I don't know. There was a showboat or excited. I can't remember now. There's 3 personality traits anyway that you can pick from, and they're all good. I think the course is exciting. I think when you crash, it's very dramatic. Yeah, I don't know whether I've talked too much about this game, but it was worth the money. I've never played a Trolls game before, so if you're one of these people that have played it to death and uh, you've played a couple of Trolls before and you just think, oh no, it's not my type of thing, then yeah, I I can see that. I can see why people can get bored of it if it's just the same old. But I've not played one before, so this is a completely new thing to me, and I think it's wicked.
And how much is this, Pete?
I think
remember?
I think it's around 20 quid, but I had some money left from a gift voucher that Mike gave me for Christmas, and I think it only ended up costing me 7 quid. So I think it's 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but I think it's good. It tests your patience. It's good, and I think that competition now in the WhatsApp chat is starting to get more and more. Well, there's a lot more beef being thrown around, and obviously the ginger word has been thrown so many times, and on the on. So all I try and do is just to keep them on their toes and insult them a little bit. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's really really good. So if you want to be part of that group of people, then just get in touch with Mark Annex from the Overseas Connection podcast. I'm sure they'll be able to add you to it, just like me. Well, Carl and Kyle are in that group. Hoping they'll request Katie as well soon. The bastard. I don't know if Antonio's in. I think he is actually.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's. I think that's my wrap up of the game. It's good. It's good. It's worth the money. I think.
Brilliant.
I wanted to just quickly say before we move on that I've just been browsing my phone and there's been a little bit of breaking news to do with gaming, and it will interest the PC variety. That is Detroit Become Human. Beyond Two Souls, and Heavy Rain. Obviously, PlayStation 4. Well, not anymore, but they were PlayStation 4 exclusives are coming to PC. Will be available exclusively on the Epic Store. So it's obviously something that is it David Cage? David Cage? See the people that make.
Yeah.
So it's obviously his company, and I can't remember the name of the company that made Detroit. Frick. Let me just look. I've got the game case up
Yeah, I
here.
was going to say I've got it somewhere.
Quantum Dream. So that is obviously a deal that's been struck up between them and Epic. And yeah, so people who are on the PC and think, I really want to play those games, but I can't because I don't have a PlayStation 4, can now play them. Well, not yet, but they will be able to.
Breaking news. How about that?
I just saw it.
It's fine. It's going to be out tomorrow as well. Not like the veteran gamers who release it like 5 days later. So just a bit more beef to throw in.
Yeah, it sure will be up before their show is.
Yep.
Anyway, I suppose we should get on to our sports section, shouldn't we?
Oh shit! Oh, hang on. I love how you threw that anyway in.
Oh yeah,
That's very sarcastic. Right, sport. Ugh.
Super Six. We're going to come back to Andy's comment because we'll talk about football first. I bloody forgot. What was it, last Tuesday or something? Very, very pissed off. I think it's the second time I've forgotten this season. I'm virtually in tears when I forget to do Super Six.
You say that every week.
What's that? That I
That
forget?
you forget.
No, it's not like you going to work. It's only... Or not going to work, as the case may be. I don't update this every week. It depends when we record. So if there's live football, then...
I don't even know what it is. What is it?
Super Six. You get to predict the scores of 6 games through Sky. And yeah, it's free to play, but you have to have the like a Sky Bet account, and you can win money, and you can take part in leagues and stuff, which is what this is. So next season it's too late for you to, well, it's not too late for you to join now. You could still win the jackpot, I suppose. You only got to do it 1 week, but you may not catch us now. But definitely for next season, Pete, jump in. It's a little bit of fun.
But you have to put money up front. I'm not a betting man.
No, you don't. You just need to get the account, and then you can do this. Yeah, this is free. You just predict 6 scores the minute you think the goal will be scored, and yeah, that's it. 5 points for a correct score, and 2 points for a correct outcome, and yeah, you have a chance to win. I don't know, was it like $250,000 or something? I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah. So Christian Barclay is now our leader on 405 points. I'm in second on 394. Craig Carlin's on 381. And it's getting a bit close here. Darshan S. Lafaux and Michael Patterson, you're both on 373. Carl is on 291 because he forgets to do it more often than I do. And Andy and his random number generator is on 273. So, Katie.
I haven't really got much to say in terms of my actual football team, but I wanted to just bring up something that happened to one of our former players. You probably might know already because I've been retweeting it. For people who don't know football and stuff, this news I'll say surrounds the person Michael Falasitis, who if you don't know that he was a footballer, but he was more, I guess, well known in the public eye for being on Love Island in recent months or recent years. And yeah, he unfortunately took his own life last week, which, a lot of, and this is why I'm bringing it up, obviously for me, because it will hit a lot of Stevenage fans pretty hard, because he used to play for us when he was a footballer. And he was, I think, I don't want to sound toot my own horn or anything, but I think we were the biggest club he played for. He didn't really, he was more of a conference grassroots type player after that, but he did hit it. I guess you could say he hit the big time a bit because it was when we were in League One when he played for us, and he was a lot slimmer. Obviously, if you looked at photos of him when he was in Love Island, he was very such a huge buff man. And when he played for us, he was nothing like that. And he was a good player. He was a player that came off the bench a lot, and he scored a few good goals. But he played in the team. I think we got into the playoffs in League One. I think our first season in League One we got into the playoffs, and I think we lost to Sheffield United. And I think he joined in that season, and he was a good player. And he just disappeared after that. Like after he left us, he went to like St Albans. He went to some other clubs down in the conference level, and then he just disappeared. And then it was like how many years later, and boom, he's like, as I said, he was this huge man, and he was on Love Island, and it was so weird for Stevenage fans to see because he just looked totally different. It was obviously, I think he'd given up football at that point. But no, I just wanted to bring it up. I know it's a sad thing. I guess it's a good thing why I went first. But no, and I feel like we haven't got a home game this weekend, but I'm pretty sure we will do something to remember him. 26 is no age at all, but we'll probably do something to remember him when the game after this weekend, because that's when we're at home. But no, I just thought I'd bring it up. He's a good talent. He's a good player.
I think it's a nice thing to mention him. I mean, I only ever known him as part of one of the cast on Love Island, one of the contestants, and I don't watch Love Island, but I do really. Yeah, one of my guilty pleasures, as I've said on one podcast, I can't remember before, was The Only Way Is Essex. It might have been this one, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, he's involved with all of those folk in the past, and as much as whatever he did wrong on Love Island and how people perceived him to be, I didn't even know. Like I say, he played for Stevenage. It's a crying shame that even I don't know. There was some rumor of some spiraling debt that he was in or something.
And there's things, and his grandmother apparently passed away a couple of days before he took his own life.
And I really do. I really do feel sorry for the whole of the family that have got to go through, and the friends that have got to go through all of that loss. It's so sad. And yeah, I feel the love there, Katie. I can understand why you mentioned that. And
I'm just putting a picture of him when he used to play for us in the Skype chat, just so you guys can see what he used to look like before he was obviously just this beast of a man. But yeah, no, just thought I'd bring that up. Yeah.
I can't work out how to use Skype, so I'll have to look for the picture when we're done.
Yeah.
So, Carl, why don't you cheer the mood back
cheer
up
it
again?
Up.
Oh, well. Good cheer it up. Last week I moaned about football a bit. This week I'm not gonna. We've Villa are doing quite well at the minute. We've had 4 wins on the bounce now, and we're just sneaking into the bottom of the playoff places. So we've got a decent run of fixtures as well. We've got quite a few teams towards in the bottom of the table, middle of the table to play as the season draws to a close. So I think realistically there are 2 spare spots in the playoffs. I think Middlesbrough's place is up for grabs, and obviously the place that we're currently occupying at the moment. There's a lot of teams out there fighting for it, but you never know. Jack Grealish coming back makes the world of difference to our team. We look a completely different unit with him in it, and who knows, if he can keep him fit to the end of the season, we may well get to Wembley again.
Ooh.
So trip out to Wembley for the Entertainers.
And I suppose, talking of Wembley, well, I suppose we'll kick it off in order. Our game against Crystal Palace was the first of the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. It was a 12:15 kickoff last Saturday just gone, yeah. To which Watford won 2-1. We went 1-0 up. Then conceded. We were 1-0 up at half time, conceded reasonably early in the second half, and then just played like shit. And it's like maybe last season before, it's the sort of game that we would have gone on to lose from a winning position. But anyway, Andre Gray came on from the bench, and it's the third time that he's come on in his almost as many games, I think, to score the winning goal. Yeah, he just seems to love scoring. I think it was 2 minutes after he came off the bench on Saturday. And yeah, we held on to get into the pot for the semi-final. And then I suppose I can hand over to Pete, because a bit later on that Saturday, another team played football.
Yeah,
or
and
two teams.
I'm gonna stick it on the stream because you know we were legendary that day, and there's no other way to put it. We were the better team. We beat the mighty Man United. Yeah, okay. We didn't have most of the possession in the game, but we controlled it. When we got that ball, we owned that game. And okay, they knocked in their goal in the second half just to keep us on our toes, I suppose. But I think we kind of took our foot off the gas, but we owned that game. There was a bit of controversy with a send off, and the VAR contravened that and ended up just being a yellow card. But do you know what? As far as the Wolves are playing at the minute, they're solid.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we beat Man United. Fuck, we're going to Wembley. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So the draw come on Sunday.
Yes, after the Man City game? No, it was
Brighton and Millwall.
Yeah, it was that. I was watching it. Yeah, all sorts of controversy in that game. But anyway, Brighton ended up winning, and Man City also went through. So it turned into I was waiting for the draw, which was delayed because of their bloody penalty shootout. But it was basically turned into Operation Avoid Man City, and Watford were first out the hat, and Wolves were second out the hat. So my team will be playing Pete's team at Wembley on the 7th of April. I think it's 3:30 or 4 o'clock or 4:15 kickoff.
Yeah,
so I know you're going, Carl, but are you going to go to MP?
No, I did ask at the time, because do you know what? If it was reasonably priced, and I'd have just asked Kyle. I'd have just said, "Can you try and get me a ticket in the Watford ground?" I ain't bothered where I stand, and
Watford, yeah.
I ain't bothered about that. But I can't afford paying 50, 60, 70 quid for a ticket and travel down to London as well for it. I'd like to, but I've not got that spare cash at the minute. I need to put that into other things. So unfortunately, no. I'll be watching it maybe with a group of friends in a local pub. Get a couple of bevies. Text Kyle with some few kind words on the day.
Yes.
Some encouragement, and there was somebody, I can't remember who it was, who mentioned that the Orns on Twitter today.
It was me.
Was it?
Darshan. Well, I mentioned something. Andy commented, then I replied, and then Darshan got involved as well.
Oh, there we go. So is that the nickname? Is it or is it? Enlighten me.
Yes. I suppose it comes from Hornets, Orns. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've thought unicorns would be a better fitted name, so I'm gonna throw some abuse. The name unicorn will go into it, and after the game,
Carl are gonna have to act as mediators.
Oh yeah, I think we will.
Yeah. But after the game finishes, at the end of the day, we'll be buddies again. But
will you? You'll be thrown off the headset. Be like, we're not on this podcast anymore.
Nah.
To be honest, I mean, Wolves will be in the same boat. They would have wanted to avoid Man City. They'll feel that it's winnable. The bookies are slightly favouring Wolves, but at the same time,
feel like they have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like a cup final, and it'll be a day out at Wembley. For the record, I've never seen Watford win at Wembley. I've been there twice. Luckily, we've got a different opposition. I think I mentioned before that both previous occasions it was Crystal Palace. So yeah, we knocked them out. So yeah, onwards and upwards. Looking forward to it. Tickets are getting booked tomorrow, and I suppose this will be a good time to bring in Andy's question. So he says, "Hello, hope you're all well and that Kyle and Pete are still remaining civil to each other despite the oncoming fixture. My question this week is, do you think the FA Cup semis should be played at Wembley or like in the old days, a neutral venue like
Neutral
Villa
venue.
Park, Old Trafford, etc.? Cheers."
Neutral venue. I don't like it being played at Wembley because I feel like that's the place for finals. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Katie. Absolutely a neutral venue. I think it's a shame that people have to travel halfway across the bloody country now for a semi-final. You know, it should be use a bit of common sense depending on region. So somewhere in the middle.
I'll say also it's obviously you're ecstatic you're at Wembley in the semi-final, and you'll still be just as ecstatic if you get through to the final. But there's probably that bit in me, if that happened to my team, I'd still be excited, but then there'd still be like, gotta go to. I was just at this ground last week, kind of thing. Like that kind of takes away, I think, the fear, the slight, the final feeling a little bit for me personally. It would for me, but I was just gonna actually say real quickly. Imagine if Brighton beat Man City. I know I can't see it happening, but imagine if they did. Then you're gonna get a team that I don't think has won the FA Cup before, surely. I don't know if Wolves, Watford, or Brighton have won it. They have.
Yeah.
Watford have only been in the FA Cup final once, and it was in '84 when we lost.
It'd still be a team though that people would not expect to win it. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I've got to. I mean, Wolves are. Wolves are a decent sized club. They're a big club, and I'm sure that I can't remember how many times they've won the FA Cup, but I think it's a few. Maybe 3 or 4 times. I think they've won it a few times over. Back in the day. So. Yeah, I'll be watching it as a neutral. I'm looking forward to a good game. Wolves are playing really well this season, so Watford, so it should be good fun.
Yeah, it definitely should be a good game. So, Pete, what do you think? We're Wembley for semi-finals or not?
No, I agree with Carl and Katie, and I think the idea of just plonking a dart in the middle and picking the biggest ground in the middle of the two is a good idea. Wembley should be the final stage of the last game. Yeah, but I don't. At the same time, I'm looking forward to all this hype that we've got. We're both strong teams in the division, 7th and 8th. At the moment, I think we are higher, and
you are, yeah.
Yeah, it's it builds that hype for them. It brings in the money, I suppose. That I can see why they do it, but yeah, I think it ought to be a halfway point between the two teams at the biggest ground.
Yeah, I agree as well. Even though Wembley is 12 minutes away on a train for me, so it's very, very local. But yeah, it does. I suppose seeing your team in a cup final at Wembley means a lot more than a semi-final. Or I suppose the only other time I saw Watford lose was a playoff final, so which I suppose that still counts. But yeah, Old Trafford or whatever, Villa Park, yeah, would have done the job. But hey ho, Wembley, here we come. Que sera, sera.
I miss singing that. God damn it.
Oh my god! I didn't. That was Siri. Did you hear that? I don't
Siri.
know why.
Stupid
phone, bloody thing. Apologise for that. But yeah, I think that's it for football for now.
That's the title right there, I guess. Stupid Siri.
Stupid Siri. Well, not Potter Friends.
Or Potter Friends.
Anyway, let's move on from football. We actually quickly before we do, we've got to play you about 3 weeks later in the league. I think it's at our place. Yeah, we beat you at your place. So yeah, you'll be looking for revenge when you come to Vicarage Road. So yeah, let's move on to our closing part of the show. What we starting with, Pete? Speak pipe, is it?
Why not?
By the way, the question came in from Derek. It was in the Twitch chat, so I caught it.
Ah, cool. Brilliant. We shall do the speak pipe and then move on to that.
Okay. And then hopefully, Please tell me if it's not loud enough. Right, here we go. It's our speak pipe from Derek.
Hello, entertainers. It's Derek Sains back again. And I just wanted to say congratulations on show 50 last week. It was a great listen. But did you know that this year, 2019, is a special birthday for the internet, or as it used to be called, the World Wide Web? And for a quick 2 points quiz style, do you know how old the internet is this year? And who is originally credited with creating it? And if you don't know, I'll tell you at the end of the speak pipe. And I know some weeks the internet's one of the best things ever for me, and some weeks it's one of the worst things ever. So,
Oh, hang on then. Do we know? Oh, no.
I want to say, is it 15, 20 years old? I don't know who made the internet, but I want to say 15, 20, or no, I want to say 20 or 25 years old. That's my guess. Because I don't actually know.
I'm going to say 20. I don't know for sure, and I don't know who's behind it.
I was going to be stupid and say Bill Gates.
Can't remember how.
He made Microsoft.
It was, I think it's in the 90s. So I'm going to go 20.
Well,
I know 25.
I know for a fact because I know that it's 10 years younger than me, or around that time. So I know that it's 30. The 30th anniversary this year of the World Wide Web. Well, I don't know. Derek can confirm because he's the quiz master, but so, it's something. It's like a double-barreled name. Ends with Lee. I don't know. Anybody else?
I'm sure Bill Gates actually said we're not interested in the internet. I'm sure it was him.
I was like, I was going to say Bill Gates, and I'm like, no, that's fucking Windows and Microsoft.
Well, to be honest, it would have been quite a logical guess, wouldn't it? I suppose, with being into computers.
Yeah. All right, shall I play the rest?
Yeah, you go for it.
Special mission for you this week, should you choose to accept it, and this is for the whole team. Can you come up with 3 great things about the internet and 3 terrible things about the internet? And I'll be interested to see what you come up with.
Oh, hang on then. Let's go for this one then. 3 good things about the internet and 3 bad things.
I think you could probably put porn in both.
Yeah.
You could put that in good and bad, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can think of 3, but I will say one that I think it's the same thing, but it's both good and bad, and that's basically, I just feel like it's online fandoms. For me personally, it's online fandoms. I mean, I'm speaking from experience from well, actually no, I'm gonna go. Obviously there's the Star Wars one. Obviously, me being a big Star Wars fan, obviously after the Last Jedi, people there was
ruining Star
Wars. Yeah, you had lots of people like. The good side of the fandom is like people I've met through like podcasts and just other people who love Star Wars and stuff, and I like talk to them every day. That's the good thing about online fandoms is you can talk to them, you can have these special moments with them, you can connect with them sometimes on a level like no other. But then you've obviously got the other side, which again, for example, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. There's people that were really upset that it was not the film they wanted, and they would go and target certain actresses, the director, and just be absolutely vile human beings for no reason, just because they didn't like a film. And that's the bad side of a fandom, online fandoms. And I bring up also like I'm bringing up Anthem for BioWare. Like recently, I replied to a certain thread on Twitter, basically about BioWare, something about BioWare not being happy with Anthem's release, etc., etc. And there was someone that replied to that saying, just make RPGs. That's all they said. So I was like, so I replied with, well, God forbid BioWare wanted to try something new. And everyone just came back at me and was like, oh, not if it's this shit. This is fucking shitty. No, they don't deserve to make games like this. But all the usual shit. Like that's, again, you have the good sides of it, but then you have the absolutely toxic sides of it. So I'm just going to go with the one answer. So sorry, Derek, but I will go with just online fandoms. It's both wonderful, but then if you're on the other side, if you flip the coin, it's sometimes really horrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, gaming it's done a lot for. Obviously, we're moving forward with streaming and stuff. The way that we get our news, the way that we watch films and even TV, is all changed, I suppose, for the better most of the time. Downsides, as Katie says, yeah, just idiots, I suppose. People that hide behind keyboards, causing misery to other people. Obviously, that's not good. Other than that, I suppose you sometimes can't get away from everything, and everyone seems to want to know everything.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers again is a particularly bad thing, and also just the fact that people just put their life on the internet and push it in other people's faces, especially things like Facebook and stuff. I mean, I couldn't care less about what a lot of the people that I went to school with do now. I'm friends with them on Facebook, but yeah, and I couldn't care less how many kids they got, what they had for dinner, or where they're going on holiday. So, I mean, I think that's bad. Everyone seems to just feel that necessary to push all that stuff in other people's faces, where back in the day, couldn't do that. You were lucky if you were playing Snake on a 5110 or 5146. So, yeah, I think I've covered enough things there. Anything else that Carl or
Yeah.
Pete you want to add?
I'd go, like, I mean, Casey's mentioned fandoms. I'd go social media. I think it's done a lot really well. Like, like Tim in our chat has just said, the best thing about the internet is meeting friends like you guys. And that's, that's
Aw.
true. If there was no social media, I mean, I probably wouldn't have, got into podcasting, met, and been over to the States and met Tim and Joel and people like that. It's helped to make the world smaller, and and help you to kind of interact and get friendships with people who are worth your time. And then the flip side of that, there is also an awful lot wrong with social media, and Carl's covered a bit there with keyboard warriors and stuff, and there is just no policing of it. It's completely free. People can abuse people, just destroy people on social media if they want to. As a parent, it's one of them things that I'm like, this is one of the worst things facing kids like my boy's age and that, and I'm just grateful social media wasn't around when I was a kid, because it's something so much extra to deal with. So yeah, I'd probably just say social media.
Cool. Anything else for you, Pete?
Well, I could go on again about the negatives. I think one big negative for me, I think it's stopped kids from getting outside and playing down the park. And when we was kids, it was just all about, well, you didn't have the internet or mobile phones, or you just go to the park at 5:30 on a night, and whoever was there, you'd be playing footy, or you go out on your bikes and you'd do whatever. And I feel as though it's ruined that sense of community to some aspect. But at the same time, it's built one. You know, I've got to know you guys. I've got to know all of the people from the other podcasts. We wouldn't have had the meetups that we've had, and if families were abroad in another country, we wouldn't be able to connect if it wasn't for Skype or any other video calling or some internet or WhatsApp or even talk or send pictures. So it does sway both ways, and I suppose it just depends how you use the internet in life, and it can be used in a real bad negative way or in a good way. And yeah, I don't know. Positive. I'm trying to think of other positive. Oh yeah, one other one for me is somebody says to you like, I don't know, what's the deepest sea in the world, and you're like, oh, I'll tell you what, I'll just go on Google, and it'll bam, you got the answer there and then, instant. Nobody, like, if somebody tries to challenge it, you just say, no, Google said, and
You are a smart man.
yeah, nobody can beat the wise wisdom word of the Google. But that's my 2 pence. I'm not going to go into it anymore.
Okay.
Nice.
And
Should we play the rest of the speak pipe? I was going to say. Have
Yeah, go
you
for it.
mentioned it, Kyle?
yeah, well, the only other thing I can think of is shopping, but then again, that can be a bad thing as well, because it's easy to spend money when your cards are linked to things. You just click it and it just all of a sudden appears at your door.
But it's also ruining smaller businesses in
True.
and around your areas, and it's shutting it's shutting places down. So it does have a great positive effect in a way for convenience, I suppose, for us, but in other aspects, yeah.
I tell you, the thing I don't understand is people that get McDonald's delivered to their house. It's just that still doesn't sit right with me.
I've tried it. I've tried to go on to Uber Eats before or whatever it was, and I couldn't work it out, so I just gave up in the end. But yeah, a lot of people still do it, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I got past the McDonald's and there's like 4 or 5 guys waiting outside on a moped, ready to just, just
Well,
deliver.
that must say a lot about society. But anyway, that's we could be talking. We could start a podcast about that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Should we carry
anyway,
on?
yes, please.
All right.
And it's only about 3 and a bit weeks until the Arcade Club meetup in Bury, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure it'll be a great time. And before I end, I'll just tell you the answers. The internet is credited with being 30 years this year, and the creator is credited as Sir Tim Berners-Lee. And I think that's it. So I think until next time, we'll just say, keep on gaming.
It's time that you stop before it's too late. Hello, the internet's great.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Derek. And also, Katie, you said you grabbed this from the chat, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Derek's asked us TV series Porridge is on the Yesterday channel right now, but I probably know the dialogue of every episode. What is a series you have seen so often you know the script off by heart?
Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. Probably. Rewatched so many, certain seasons so many times.
Okay, for me, the program that I couldn't do that and sort of reel off quotes all the time is The Simpsons. I used to watch a lot of that growing up. So, yes, that'll do for me.
Ooh, yeah, Simpsons is a good one, mate, to be fair. I'm probably there as well, along with Futurama. Friends for me, I've watched a ton of Friends over the years. I can pretty much rattle off that scene by scene. And Red Dwarf as well from when I was a kid. I used to love that.
Bottom's a good one for me, I think. Not a physical bottom, I mean the TV program. Even though I am a bum man. And
There you go.
Stranger Things. Yeah, I like Stranger Things as well. And yeah, I can't think. It's a good question, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first things that I replied at.
Okay, perfect. Well, I guess we shall move on to some shout-outs. So, Katie, would you like to shout anyone out?
I'll just shout out the group of friends I went to Harry Potter World with. It was a lot of fun, had a good day, and yeah, it was a good day.
Oh, Potter Friends!
Yeah!
That's the name of the show.
Oh, there you go.
Dedicated to them.
Indeed, yes. I saw the pictures. It did look good. For me, just, people contributing as usual. People in the chat, which I still can't see. We'll get there one day this year, hopefully. We'll get a better setup. And everyone that's congratulated us on 50 shows from last week. I know that Mark Annex and Greg said some nice things on the Overseas Connection. And just a quick one for Mark for jumping in with us last night on Division 2. Hopefully we can play some more of that soon.
Yeah.
Carl, any shout outs for you?
Nothing specific, just thanks for everyone for listening as usual, and keep on doing that.
Brilliant. Pete, I love your shout out.
Well, there's another little bit as well before that. There's the Gingerist OC podcast crew. They seem to have a lot to say about ginger hair. Well, all I can say is a big, massive fuck you, and I hope you take that and shove it right up your ass. And yes, you big bunch of OAPs, I will be catching you on trials. Do you understand? Fucking bastards they are. They're so cheeky.
Just quickly, the font that we've got for you in our Google Doc is
Ginger.
orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, was it always been like that?
I think so. I'll set it to that. I think I do.
Oh, did you? Oh, right.
I am very. I am Gap, ginger and proud. Yeah, I am ginger and proud. And yeah, for all these gingerists out there, it doesn't matter. It's fine. You keep going on with all that hate. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I don't care. It's water off a duck's back with me. Anyway, OC podcast. I'll be catching you soon, you shitbags. So yeah, a shout out to the B&Q lady. I don't know what her name was, but she'll come back with this paint, and she was like, this woman at the B&Q. She just found the right paint for our room. Well, not our room, but Kira's room. But it was the room it was painting, and it worked out so well. So whoever this B&Q lady is out there, and I'm sure she's going to be one of the 6 million listeners who listen to this show. She's big shout out to her. I'm gonna call her Skinny Lil for kicks.
Great name.
But
Great name.
Shell says that she's gonna take us some chocolates. So she's gonna go to the B&Q and take this lady some chocolates. That's how much we appreciate
you just
it.
tell her we shouted you out on my podcast.
Yeah,
Try and get her to send a speak pipe in.
Yeah, she might. Yeah. Thanks for giving me some Ferrero Rocher. And yeah, I'll tell you what, I might even listen every week now because it's great. I eat this. You even talk about Forrest Gump. There you go.
There you go. You did already.
That's class.
There you go. So that's my shout out. So I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, one more. Shell. I've not really seen much of it this week because I've been working like a dog, either at the house or at work when I remember to go. And yeah, I've not seen much of it. So I'm sorry, Shell. I love you. That's it. I'm done.
All right. Well, as always, you can find us on iTunes and Podbean. Just search Entertainerds. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Entertainerds. We are also on YouTube and Twitch. Just search for Entertainerds Podcast. Get in touch via email at entertainerdspod@gmail.com. Send us a SpeakPipe by going to speakpipe.com and search for Entertainerds. I'm on virtually everything at AdamsKD86. Pete is...
Wait, which way are we going?
Ooh.
Sorry.
It's in order.
My bad.
I'm the legit Chinny on everything.
I am at Katie with 3Es120 and can be found on Twitch using that same handle.
You can find me on Twitter at Stratham and on Twitch as Stratham. You can find me, on a Band of Gamers if you want to go and listen to that. It's pretty good.
It sure is. It sure is. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the big meet-up in a few weeks' time. But for now, it's goodbye from Katie.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye from Pete.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Carl.
Ta-ta.
And it's goodbye from me.
Could I just say, before I play the outro, I am sorry to the OC podcast. I didn't mean any of my words. It's all in kind jest.
Beef.
No, I'd probably say the same anyway. What do you think? I'm a little bit drunk?
No, it's only because you mentioned it. I never notice it, but you mentioned it earlier, so I was just...
No, I'm all right. I'm a little bit merry, but it's fine. It's just I'm proud of being ginger.
We're prepared to send hate messages to Overseas Selection.
Yeah.
Beef.
Dude.
Mark Annex is already there in the chat saying ginger phobia is real. Wow. There's a whole lot of ginger coming to the VG meetup.
So what did you want to go with show name? Either Potter Friends or Ginger and Proud?
Oh, Potter Friends is good.
Pot of ginger.
Pot the ginger.
But
Whoa.
so okay, you've gone from being racist to potting us all. So now you're shelving the ginger.
Just what I'd mix the two together.
This is just bad. It's getting from like bad to worse. I'm getting shit from OC, and then all of a sudden, I'm being shelved. I'm being potted.
I don't even know what that means. Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Right, I'm going to stop streaming. Stop recording.
Bye.
Bye.